Loomis. So he's going to come out and he is going to apologize on Miz TV. We've got Riddle against Gable. So we've got that tonight as well. Of course, all the time we're building towards Wargames. And we've got, obviously, the fallout from Austin Theory cashing in. And, of course, we're building towards Damage Control versus Bianca, Asuka, Alexa, and some mystery partners. So we need to find out who these mystery partners are. I think one of them will be Candice Lerae, but don't know who the other will be. And we still need another partner for Damage Control. They've got Nikki Cross, but they need one more. So that'll be interesting. And, of course, we never know if Bray is going to send a message. He could interrupt on the Titantron like we saw last week. So it feels like Alexa or Asuka, probably Alexa, is a target of some sort. She had a logo appear behind her backstage at Crown Jewel. Then last week on Raw, the Titantron, Bianca's Titantron, was interrupted whilst Alexa was making her way down to the ring as well. So it feels like Bray is targeting Alexa. He might not be looking to attack Alexa. He might be looking to recruit Alexa. But you can't rule out Asuka. Asuka has been there both times as well. If he is going to bring Asuka into the fold, that would be very interesting. So I actually don't mind which way he goes. I don't mind if he attacks Alexa. The only thing I would say is I don't want him to do it. There needs to be a female that does it because I don't want to see Bray, who's, one of the bigger guys, against Alexa, who is one of the smaller girls. Like, I don't need to see that. So I don't know quite how he would do it. Some people think he's already doing it by sending Nikki Cross, and that Nikki Cross is working for Bray. So, which is an interesting thought, isn't it? And it could be true. I don't mind that theory at all. So, plenty for us to get our teeth into anyway. It's nice to be back after a few days of doing UFC and boxing, and a big thank you to everyone that joined us for those UFC and boxing streams. We are back now doing WWE. Big show tonight. We're on the road to Survivor Series. Very much looking forward to it. And don't forget, I am probably going to mention it a few times throughout this week. We start our World Cup streams this weekend. We are doing 40-odd games for the World Cup. The World Cup is a massive deal here in the UK. I think it's going to be pretty big in America as well, because obviously you guys have qualified. Well done. And Canada. Well done. There's, I can't remember how many countries. Is it 34? Something along those lines. There's a lot of countries that are in the World Cup. There's going to be 60. I think there's 32 teams, 64 games, I think is how it works out. So, we're going to be doing like 40-odd games. So if you are excited for the World Cup, then you can join us. We're going to be doing the vast majority of games, all the knockout games we're doing, of course, the finals, semi-finals, quarterfinals, rounds of 16s, final group games. The only kind of games we're missing are the really boring ones, or the ones that look like they're going to be boring. So, all the big teams, we're going to be all over it. So very excited for that. That starts on Sunday. So, wanted to mention that so that we could get that in there. And we broke the show down. Hello to everyone. Maka said, what two names are you leaning towards as being a part of the team Bianca if you had to choose? So, first of all, Candice. That seems like a no-brainer because she was actually attacked by Damage Control. So she fits perfectly. And we've seen her with Asuka, Alexa, and Bianca in some backstage segments. So I don't mind that at all. I'm also a big fan of having the final member be like a bit of a curveball, be a bit of a surprise. I mean, you can go down the Raw roster and you can find women that, deserve that opportunity. But you could also bring in a legend. We get legends for WrestleMania. We get legends for the Royal Rumble. We don't see legends at Survivor Series, even though it is one of the big shows. It is one of the big four, and it is really a show that deserves to feel like it is bigger than the other pay-per-views. It's kind of lost its way, Survivor Series. If you think Survivor Series goes back all the way to the late 1980s, I mean, it's stunning, absolutely stunning. The fact that Survivor Series goes back that long, it's part of the big four. And it's kind of just, I don't know how excited people get for Survivor Series in this day and age. I hope they still do. I think they will this year because of the War Games element. But I'm a big fan of, like, if you can logistically fit in a legend or two on this card, do it. Do it because it deserves to feel bigger than just a B show. It deserves to feel bigger than Extreme Rules, than, you know, Hell in a Cell, those kind of shows. Like this is a big deal. This is Survivor Series. This is where The Shield debuted. This is where The Undertaker debuted. So I would like to see, I think, a legend, to be honest. I would like to see a legend. I don't mind if it would be someone like Trish or Beth or Lita. I think they could be fun. Obviously, if you could get AJ Lee, that would be amazing. Can't see it happening, but it would be amazing. So, yeah, I think, like, I would probably go that way. But if you want to look at active stars, then you could go with Becky. You know, Becky would be a good fit because she was meant to be in this story. I don't know if she's ready to return, but she was meant to be in this story at SummerSlam because you might remember as soon as Bayley returned with Io and Dakota, Becky and Bianca stood side by side. They just had a match, and Becky jumped into the ring to stand by Bianca's side. It's only because she got injured during that match that she wasn't able to stay a part of this story, stay a part of this feud. I think we were building to Bayley and Becky matches as well, which would have been amazing because actually Bayley versus Becky is a series of matches I just cannot recall on the main roster. I'm sure we must have had them, but I can't recall seeing them. I can't recall seeing Bayley versus Becky. So yeah, I would have been really down for that. So if she's able to return, she might be the perfect name to have in that kind of fifth position. If not, I'm totally down for a legend because, as I said, I think it'd be great if we used legends a little bit more at Survivor Series, made it feel like a bigger deal. Outside of that, then, you know, I mean, there's plenty of names. I've got a list of names in front of me that you could turn to. I just don't know if they're going to be able to compete or not. Like Carmella, for example. I think she suffered a miscarriage, and I don't know quite how long ago that was now. I don't know emotionally, like where she is, physically where she is, like that might just not be possible. She might not be ready to return to work. So I thought it worth mentioning because she's someone that could go into that role. Dana Brooke is someone that could go into that role. Doudrop could go into that role. I know some of these are heels and you'd have to turn them face, but that's not the hardest thing in the world to achieve, is it? So a couple of names there that you could use. Tamina, you could put in that role, but I must admit, none of them excite me as much as Becky or a legend. The only problem is, don't know if Becky is ready to return or not. That's the only thing. Don't know if she's ready to return. But I like the idea of a legend getting some real backup, getting a surprise, getting. You can see it being a swerve, and I can just see Bayley's reaction right now. Like I can see her face, like completely was not expecting this. Like they've planned for everything, but they never planned for this. And oh my God, now we've got to deal with Trish, like or something along those lines. Like that could be really cool. Brandon English, shout out to you, dude, said, thoughts on Keith Lee's debut in AEW? Random. I can't remember his debut, to be honest. I think I remember being excited for him coming in. I think he's been good I think before Swerve in Their Glory, I wasn't feeling it. But I think Swerve in Their Glory, Our Glory, or whatever, they are a good tag team. I think they've been fun. I think they've been credible. They've put the tag belts on them. I think they've worked well. I think some of my favorite matches this year have been those guys against the Acclaimed. So, yeah, I think they've done some good stuff. I suppose a little bit of concern for when he breaks away from Swerve, because then he's got to go back to being on his own. And we saw that before, and I don't know, I just wasn't really feeling it. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I can't quite pinpoint what's missing, but something definitely felt like it was missing. So, I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I think he's been used well with Swerve in Our Glory. But his actual, when he first came in his first match and how he debuted, I actually can't even remember, so I don't know that it was that impactful. But either way, they've gone on to use him all right. We'll have to see what is next. Squidgebert said, Candice and Indy on Face Team. Remember Bailey mentioned Candice having no friends. That's a good shout. I don't mind that. Robert said, do you want the Bella twins or Stephanie McMahon in Wargames? Yeah, I mean, yes to both. I really don't mind. Stephanie, for example, it won't happen, but if she does have a match, I mean, she's the co-CEO, co-chairwoman. Like, that's kind of as big as it gets, really, unless someone's going to have a match with Nick Khan. Clearly Triple H isn't going to wrestle anymore because of his heart issues, and he's, I think, got a built-in defibrillator now. So he can't wrestle anymore. But if Steph was to put the ring gear on one more time, I mean, I can't remember the last time we saw her wrestle, but I remember, like, WrestleMania 34, about, nearly 5 years ago, was it, since Ronda first came in. I remember seeing Steph in that match, of course, but I don't know if we've seen her since then. But, yeah, probably not. Probably won't see Steph again. She's probably retired. She's got enough on her plate right now. But she's a massive deal. And I think if the story's right, it could be very, very interesting. Bellas, I mean, look, my feelings on the Bellas are maybe a bit different to other people's, because I think people see the Bellas and they see them as the poster children of the Diva era, and the Diva era is not really thought of that fondly. People look at things like Total Divas and they're just like, do you know what I mean? They look at the Bellas and they can't really wrestle that well, and they're like, nah. And do you know what I mean? Like, it's all a bit, nah. I get that. I totally get that. I think the way I look at it is that they served a very important role, and it was a role that wasn't aimed at me, and it wasn't aimed at many of you. It was aimed at women who were not really, and girls who were not really engaged in wrestling, who were brought into wrestling because of shows like Total Divas, Total Bellas, things along those lines. You know, that programming was not aimed for guys my age, or I would imagine the vast majority of you lot, right? I'm sure some of you enjoyed it. And, we have done watch-alongs where we've gone back and watched the first season of Total Divas. And you know what? There's some moments in there that are fun, in all fairness. There's some moments in there that are fun, but I didn't have much of a desire to go into season 2. Like, the program is not aimed at me. It's not made for me. And I know that, and I acknowledge that, and I'm all right with that. So I think they served a purpose. I think they performed a good role. Like, they were role models. You saw kids, young girls dressing up as Nikki and Brie all the time. Do you know what I mean? So they definitely achieved a lot. They served a purpose. I actually thought Nikki was not bad in the ring. I didn't think she was that bad. I've seen way worse than Nikki Bella. Brie was not as good, in all fairness. But if you talk about, like, women's tag teams and women's tag team champions, it's such a shame that they weren't around at that time, because if the Bellas were around now, you'd have to think that they would be around those tag titles a lot. And they are, because of them being twins, a bit like, that's what they're made for, really. They're made for that tag division. They're twins, like the Usos. And, they just look great together. They've got one of the strongest gimmicks. They think alike. They're into their fashion and everything. They always dress the same, dress similar. Yeah, I mean, they would have been perfect for a women's tag division. So it's a shame they're not around now in a way. So yeah, I think I totally understand why people aren't into them and totally get that it's not for everyone. But I see they serve a purpose. I had no problem with them going into the Hall of Fame. They just don't, I don't know why, they just don't offend me. I'm not offended by the Bellas at all. So I wouldn't mind them being involved. I don't mind them being involved at all. They do appeal to people and they do move the needle. And Nikki's gone on to achieve quite a few things. So yeah, she would definitely resonate with people. Scott said, do you think Punk will return to WWE? No, I don't. I've never thought he would. Obviously, I can be wrong on that. But there's a reason why we've not done videos on it, because I just don't believe in it. Like, I don't do videos on things that I just really don't believe in. Like, if in order for me to like be engaged in something, I have to believe in it, and I just don't know. Not a fiber in my body thinks that he goes back to WWE. I mean, when he left in 2014, he was very outspoken about WWE, and I understand that things change, but he went to AEW and he was very vocal about WWE in AEW. He didn't like how he was treated. He was suing the doctor because of he felt that he wasn't being diagnosed correctly. So there was big lawsuits and everything that was going on between them. He got his release papers on the day of his wedding. He called Triple H the doofus son-in-law and left because he felt disrespected when he was champion. In fact, just constantly felt disrespected. And then was put in a match with Triple H at WrestleMania 30, and he was like, no, I ain't doing that. Triple H needs that match with me more than I need that match with him, and then boom, did one, right? And again, things can change over time, but he never returned. He never came back after that point in 2014. It's been 8 years. He went to AEW, and a part of me wonders if he's got the wrestling bug out of his system. I don't know that he wants his career to finish this way. That could be a little sticking point. But to be honest, he's made a ton of money. He's had some wrestling matches. I think he's picked up a few injuries whilst he was in AEW. So I think he knows that where his body is at, and that maybe there's not tons of matches left in his body. He managed to go back and perform in front of his fans. I don't know. I just can't see him wanting to go back to WWE. I just don't think that it's a desire that he's got. I don't think unless he hates AEW so much now that he just wants to stick two fingers up to them, and he'll choose the lesser of two evils, then maybe. I think WWE would bring him in, to be honest. I think WWE would do it. I don't think that's so much of a problem. I think it's always been Punk's decision. I think Punk is the one that needs to decide if he wants to go there or not. And I just don't see it. I don't think he will. Do you think Ronda versus Big Show at WrestleMania 42? No, I don't. Big Show is in AEW, and for me, that's the biggest stumbling block there. If he was in WWE, almost certainly. Mitchell said, in terms of quality, storytelling, wrestling, production, how do you rank them in order of SmackDown, Raw, NXT, Dynamite, and Rampage? So I put Rampage at the bottom. I think that it feels like it's the leftovers of Dynamite, to be honest. It feels like all the juicy cuts go to Dynamite, and then things that just aren't as important. They tried to put matches on there, and I understand that has now changed. I understand things have improved, but I don't watch it now. Like, that's how bad it was. It's not part of our schedule anymore, because even though it's AEW, it didn't feel like essential viewing. And you could even look at our viewers on our SmackDown watch along. And as SmackDown was progressing, like, more people joined us. And as soon as SmackDown ended and we went over to Rampage, boom, massive drop off. And you only have to look at the ratings. I think, is it around 300 and some thousand Rampage gets? again, it's just not essential. It's they could use Dynamite to set up Rampage and use Rampage as like a Saturday night's main event. Do you know what I mean? Like a Friday night's main event, and actually use the show as like the payoff for things, and make it essential viewing. Make it live, make it like big, important title matches, the AEW World Championship, the AEW Women's Championship, do a big tournament. The final is on Rampage. Do returns on Rampage, like when CM Punk came in, he came in on Rampage. So, look, Rampage has had things that have been going for it, but there's been too many shows where it's just been the leftovers of Dynamite and an afterthought. And after a while, people pick up on that, and that's it. I mean, production-wise, there's not really much, is there, between Dynamite and between Rampage, because they just film it straight afterwards. So it's the same crowd, it's the same ring, it's the same lighting, it's all the same. There's nothing that's any different. So production, right, and the same with WWE. The same people that produce Raw produce SmackDown. NXT is a little bit different, but it's all using the same mentality. It's still the WWE production values. I would imagine I don't know, but I would guess that there are people that have worked on Raw and SmackDown that have given advice for NXT. Maybe there's people that are down there that work at NXT now. Perhaps there's people that worked on Raw and SmackDown and now they've gone to NXT to, live in Florida and retire there, because you just can't see much in the way of difference between... obviously, apart from the arenas, the size of it all is smaller, but the actual camera work and the production, as you say, there's no difference. Not that I can see anyway. The only thing I would say is different about NXT isn't so much the production, but they do more vignettes. So they do more like in a bar, they'll do a little recording, or they'll go on the street and they'll do a recording, or, and the reason for that is because they're in the same building every week. So they can film stuff like throughout the week. They can do stuff earlier in the day before. They can just go off and do stuff whenever is needed because they're always in the same area. With WWE, they're constantly on the move. They're constantly going to different places. So they can't really go to like a bar and all that kind of stuff because schedule-wise, it's quite tight. I mean, they could make it work if they needed to do it. It's just a lot easier down in NXT. So that would be something I would say would be different. So I would say if I was ranking the shows, I would go Rampage at the bottom. Then I would probably go AEW at the moment. I think it's been hit with a lot of disruption with these suspensions. I think they've had some big injuries. I think that there's not many stories that are really grabbing people at the moment. It feels like we're going through one of the weaker periods for AEW. And as I said, I put a lot of that down to the whole CM Punk, Elite, Kenny. I mean, Kenny had been away for so long. He finally comes back and then gets suspended. So they've been without Kenny, apart from the few matches he had since he returned. Like, I don't even know, like over 12 months, it feels like. And obviously, injuries to Daniel Bryan. I think they tried some stuff like Forbidden Door, which I don't know. It's questionable as to whether that worked and if people really cared. I think if you're really into New Japan, it was amazing for you. But I think the vast majority of people are not. And I think the vast majority of people don't watch New Japan on a regular basis. So, you were bringing in these names that just weren't getting much reaction, even from the AEW fans. Some names were, but some names were not. And so we kind of went through that, and that was a big focus for a while. That didn't seem to really achieve much. And as we said, injuries. I mean, look at Thunder Rosa. She's been out, doesn't know when she's coming back. That means we've got an interim women's champion. And it doesn't feel like it's got much in the way of momentum. But there's still some good stuff on the show. I mean, I like the Acclaimed. I like Bryan Danielson. MJF's doing some great segments. There's some good stuff there, absolutely. But it does feel like it's one of its weaker periods. Only just ahead of it, I would put NXT. NXT can be a bit of a mixed bag, but I have enjoyed some recent NXT shows. They did a show just the other week where they had 2 tag title matches. Both of them were amazing. There was a third match. I can't remember what it was, but that was fantastic as well. I think it might have been Axiom against JD Madonna. Maybe it was that. But there was about 3 matches on the 2 hours that were like really, really good. And the other matches that were on there were fine. They weren't like stinkers. They were all right. They just weren't the same level. And then you've got things like Thea Hale, who I'm just absolutely just crazy about right now. She's just one of the most entertaining women in all of wrestling for me at the moment. Like, whenever she's on screen, she just gives everything. She just lights up her segments, and I just really enjoy watching her segments. And then, you know, you've got like Dragunov around. You've got Bron Breakker doing some good stuff. Carmelo Hayes around. The tag team's killing it at the moment. Just, it feels like there's a good, you know, I'm going to use that momentum word. I feel like there's some good momentum at the moment. And then with Triple H and his booking, I think he's done a decent job. There's definitely some missteps, but I would say Raw in second place, because I just think 3 hours is hard to book. And even under Triple H, that hasn't changed. I think if you can cut it down to 2 hours, that would be better. But there's no bloodline. We do get Roman once in a while, but there's no bloodline. There's no Roman consistently on Raw. That's a big loss. And there's no Bray. Bray's on SmackDown. And Bray has been one of the most interesting superstars in recent times, in recent months. So people love picking his segments apart. You don't have anything like that on Raw. So I kind of feel like, because SmackDown is 2 hours, because it's got the bloodline, because it's got Sammy, because it's got Roman, because it's got Bray, SmackDown takes it for me. SmackDown's the best show at the moment. So that would be the order that I would put it in. And yeah, I can't see that changing for a while, to be honest. I mean, obviously, when the Elite come back, that'll be interesting. See if AEW move up a bit, because they could jump above NXT quite comfortably, to be honest, because there's been some bad NXT shows. There's been some NXT shows where I've just really struggled to get through the 2 hours. But in recent weeks, they've done some good stuff. I really enjoyed the reveal of Ava Raine. Ava Raine being in Schism. That was good. The Rock's daughter. That was good. That was a big moment. So, yeah, that might have been on the same show as those tag matches, actually. The 2 tag matches, there was a third match that was awesome, and the Ava Raine reveal might have actually been in the same show, which was one of the best wrestling 2 hours I've seen this year. So, you know, that was a massive boost for NXT. That's, you know, why it helped to jump above AEW. So, yeah, Mitchell, hope that answers it. I would imagine a lot of people probably got a very similar order, would be my guess. Brandon said, what's the match you're most looking forward to on Saturday? Storm and Hater for me. I've been watching the streams for a long time and I love them. Appreciate that. In regards to AEW, let me have a look at Full Gear. AEW Full Gear 2022. Okay, so Luchasaurus against Jungle Boy in a cage match. That's interesting. I didn't see that get announced. That must have been maybe on Rampage. But that's interesting. Cage match is interesting. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal against Sting and Darby. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Britt Baker against Saraya. Better build last week. Better build. I think the build for it has not been brilliant, but last Wednesday I thought was all right. I thought it was pretty good. So, of course, it's Saraya returning to the ring. Paige returning to the ring. That's going to have a lot of eyeballs on it. So I'm quite excited to see what she can do in there. I don't know that my expectations are that high, though, to be honest. I don't know that I don't know. What do you expect from that? It's unfair to expect a 5-star classic, isn't it? Because she's been out the ring for so long. And plus, I don't know that Paige is really known for 5-star classics, even when she was wrestling. So, yeah, I suppose that is grabbing me because of the intrigue. But I think it might be unfair to have expectations too high. Jade Cargill against Nyla Rose. I can think of about a million things I'd rather do than watch that. Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson versus Claudio versus Sammy for the Ring of Honor World title. It's interesting. Multi-person match. I mean, look, it could be fun, fast-paced, action-packed. Certainly got some big names in it. Sometimes I find those multi-person matches to just be spot fests and not that dramatic. Yeah, I don't know. I think, to be honest, I think the cage match, and I think Jeff and Jay versus Sting and Darby, and Britt Baker and Saraya, I'm amazingly probably more excited for than that Fatal 4-Way. Because, as I said, I've seen a fair few Fatal 4-Ways, and I don't know, they just hit and miss for me if they work. Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter, definitely. I think that'll be fantastic. Would I put that above Britt and Saraya? I might do. Yeah, I might do. Ethan Page or Bandido against to be determined, and that is the World Championship Tournament final. Okay, well, I won't know that until we know who is in the final. Acclaimed against Swerve and Our Glory. Bingo. There it is. That's the one. I've seen those matches twice. Both times they've delivered. The first time is maybe my match of the year. Maybe. It's in contention. The first match they have is fantastic. It really is a match of the year contender. I can't see any reason why they can't do it for a third time. So I'll have to go Acclaimed and Swerve in Our Glory. But yes, Tony Storm, Jamie Hayter up there as well. And then Jon Moxley, MJF. That's going to be really tasty as well. MJF getting his opportunity. Is that where he becomes the AEW World Champion? To be honest, it should be, because for me personally, I'm a bit done with MJF. I'm a bit done with Moxley as champion. So yeah, I've never really felt Jon Moxley. I'm way more into Dean Ambrose than I am Jon Moxley. I know Jon Moxley is a bit edgier, certainly bleeds a lot more, but I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. Just seems like a moody man. That's it. Just a moody guy. Whereas I thought Dean Ambrose was a bit more, dare I say, entertaining. So yeah, I prefer Ambrose over Moxley. So Moxley being world champion doesn't really do it for me. I would put it on MJF. So I'd make MJF champion, and that could really give AEW a boost. And then you bring back the Elite and, obviously Kenny, and we could be getting to a good place with AEW. So I'll say they're just behind NXT at the moment, but after this weekend, they could be just ahead. Eric, shout out to you, bud, said, why did the turkey cross the road? 'Cause he's not a chicken. Hang on. Oh, God. That is fantastic. Eric, shout out to you. Brightening up this Monday afternoon, evening, nighttime, wherever you are in the world. Eric, shout out to you, bud. King Chris said, hello to you. So days of wrestling. Greetings as well to all the chatty chatters here today. I'm happy to be here with everyone. King Chris, shout out to you, buds. Loving your profile picture, by the way. Yeah, it is a cat. I wondered if it was like a tiger, but I think it is a cat, like a house cat, a pet. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. King Chris, shout out to you. Do you think Uncle Howdy is going to go for Alexa today? I don't think he's going to go for Alexa, but I think that because you wouldn't do that before Survivor Series. But I think that you could see Bray's logo interrupt again. Yes, I mean it's been 2 weeks in a row. In fact, not even that. It was at Crown Jewel on the Saturday, and then I think Raw was the Monday, and we got logos on both occasions, didn't we? So yeah, I expect the logo to be around Alexa, but I don't think Uncle Howdy will attack. Geffen said, what's your favorite sports in order? Well, that's hard to do because there's so many sports, but yeah, I mean, there's so many sports, I wouldn't even really know where to start. I watched loads of different sports, but I would say the ones that we stream are going to be amongst my favorites. The only sport that there's two sports that we don't really stream that I would put around near the top, and that would be football and cricket. I love watching England play cricket. It's a very English game, of course, but actually, it is a worldwide game. It's just not really popular in Canada or America or Mexico, but I mean, it's massive in Australia, New Zealand, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, the West Indies. It's a massive game, like worldwide. Love watching England play the teams in cricket, various versions of the game. So love that. And then, of course, football. I mean, I love football. I love soccer. So World Cup coming up, really looking forward to that. But I mean, wrestling, of course, is going to be up there. I mean, probably number one, but I've said before, if everything was happening at the same time, if everything was going on, say there was WrestleMania, there was big UFC show, there was England in a World Cup final for cricket, England in a World Cup final for football, all of this stuff was happening at the same time, I would watch England in the World Cup final for football. That to me is the pinnacle. That is the biggest prize in the world. The World Cup is the biggest prize in the world. It's the biggest thing in the world. Whoever wins the World Cup, you could have Man United in a Champions League final, and I would still watch England in a World Cup final. England in a World Cup final for football, soccer. That is the absolute pinnacle for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd be gutted at missing WrestleMania, right? And in fact, I'd probably still be able to watch a lot of it because the World Cup final will only be about an hour and a half, hour and 45. So WrestleMania is probably going to be, 4 hours? So I'd probably still try and catch WrestleMania what I could. But yeah, I'm so excited for the World Cup. I'm really excited for it. If England win it, I might actually explode. Like, I might actually just go, and that might be it for the channel. So that could be interesting. So yeah, it's going to be quite emotional watching England play in the World Cup. I do get quite animated, as you know anyway, in regards to wrestling. But yeah, passions run high when it's World Cup season. Mitchell said, have you noticed the NFL going to London and Germany this year? As an American, seeing those crowds is awesome. How come soccer hubs have so much better fans? The German fans were great. I haven't. I mean, I don't follow NFL, so that's not on my radar. And to be honest, NFL's not that big here. It's grown a lot, but it's not that big. Like, it's not mainstream news. So, no, it wasn't on my radar. I know that they do come to London. The reason I know that is because I know that when Tottenham built their stadium, they actually built it with the NFL in mind. And so I think they can change their pitch, and they've got bigger changing rooms and all this kind of stuff. So I think it's quite lucrative, the NFL coming over. And so when they built their stadium, they obviously wanted to be seen as a destination for those games. And obviously Wembley hosts them as well. I had a few friends that I used to work with that used to go to those games. I think they still do as well, but obviously during lockdown and everything, that wasn't happening. I happened to be in London as well once, and I was going down Regent Street, and there was these massive banners all down the street talking about the game that was coming for the NFL, and they took over Regent Street, and there was all these banners, and it was kind of like this big parade kind of vibe. So yeah, that was really cool. So I'm just, it's little things like that that make you aware that this is going on, even if you're not into it and you don't watch it. And I know that it's been a big success. I mean, they keep coming back and it keeps selling out. And, we've got like an NFL highlight show that's on, I think it's BBC One now, one of our main channels. So we're starting to see like shows get onto the free channels, the main channels about NFL. They're late at night. They're tucked away, but they're there, and that's more than what we had before. So yeah, it's growing, it's working, it's growing. It'd be very interesting to know where we are in, say, 10 years' time, how big the NFL will be over here then, because in the past 10 years, it's grown massively. Why are the fans so good in soccer countries? It's just part of the culture, innit? I mean, going to a soccer game and making noise is part of the culture. I'm sure it's the same with American football or whatever. But I don't know. I don't really know if you guys go and make as much noise. I would think that you do. It's just if you look at the crowds for wrestling as well, whenever they come over to England and do like a show, the crowds are always electric. Same with like Clash at the Castle. Crowd was fantastic there as well. Just making noise at these kind of sporting events is just part of the culture. I feel like you do that at your football games as well. So I don't know. I couldn't really answer as to why the crowds come across so well. I'm pleased they do. I can't say I'm surprised they do. You've only got to see England play at Wembley to see the noise that is generated. It's just part of our culture, really. I can't say I'm surprised that Germany is any different. I think a lot of those soccer countries would be the same. It's very rare to see a soccer game where everyone's just sat there quietly. I mean, the only time people tend to sit there quietly is if their team's doing rubbish and there's not really anything to cheer. But even then, they'll try and make some noise to get behind them. And even then, the other team's fans are going crazy. So it's very rare to watch a soccer game and it just be quiet. So, I don't know. Making noise and everything just seems to be part of the culture. But I'm pleased that it's coming across well. I'm pleased that when people watch it, they enjoy it. Because, to be honest, I mean, I don't really know how those games are perceived by NFL fans. Because I could imagine it being a bit frustrating. Because, why are we going over to England? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is an American sport with American teams. And, I could understand people being a bit like, why are we going over there? Like, we're doing it for the money, clearly. We're doing it to try and grow into the English market or whatever. But why do Americans care about that? I could understand people being a bit like, not feeling it. The only thing I can tell you is that it's appreciated because people seem to really enjoy it. And it is working and it is growing over here. And I've certainly seen more people talking and engaging and talking about the NFL more than ever before in my life. So it is definitely working. But it's good. It's good that it's coming across well, though. Ryan Gambler, shout out to you. Says, good evening. How long will Seth keep the US title? Who do you think he'll drop it to? Thanks again for the streams. Thanks for joining us. How long do I think he'll keep it for? Well, he's facing Finn Balor tonight. So it's actually Seth against Finn Balor. I mean, look, I think they've reverted back to a Monday Night Rollins. I think he's a face now. I don't know why this change has happened. It's just out of nowhere happened. I'm not against it, though. Monday Night Rollins is my favorite version of Seth. So I think if they want to do Monday Night Rollins for a bit, it would be a bit silly to take it off him now. I do think, though, he's got to be one of the names in the conversation for winning one of the belts off Roman. Now, clearly, Roman is going to be busy at Survivor Series. We know there's no pay-per-view in December. In fact, after Survivor Series, I think the next planned pay-per-view is the Royal Rumble. I'm sure Roman will have to defend his title on a SmackDown, but will he defend it on a SmackDown or a Raw against Seth? I don't know. Like, if he's going to do it, Seth might be one of the options. It's hard. It's really hard. I'm going to say that they're going to keep Seth as the US champion so that they can keep doing this Monday Night Rollins thing. I think that they're going to bang that drum for a little while. So I'm going to say that he's definitely keeping it up until early 2023. He could drop it, which will free him up then to get the championship or go after the championship. Maybe Roman gets stripped of the title and there's a tournament and Seth gets to the final and the final's at WrestleMania. Maybe there's something along those lines. Or maybe he gets a shot at Roman at, say, Elimination Chamber. Something along those lines. So I could see him having the belt until early 2023. Then he might drop it to free him up to go after one of Roman's belts. If not, he could still be US champ by WrestleMania. because I think they want to do Monday Night Rollins, and I think Monday Night Rollins works. I mean, what you've got is you've got one of the best wrestlers in the world being asked to each week go out there and have a banging match with a different opponent each week. I mean, it's real basic stuff. And to sweeten it, there's a title on the line, Seth's title, his United States title. And it works. I mean, it's basic, it's simple, but it works. And I like it. So I would keep it on him. I don't think he'll lose to Finn. I think Finn's engaged in a war with the OC, and there's too many moving parts. I can't see him becoming United States champion at this stage. So, yeah, I say they keep it on Seth until early 2023. But maybe WrestleMania. So, Ryan Gambler, shout out to you. Rob's Pippin Road said, what are your top 5 must-see acts in wrestling right now? It can be singles or tag teams. Top 5 must-see. Like, do not miss them. You need to check these people out. I would say Bray Wyatt, because I think that he is doing some interesting character work. Even though he's yet to have a match since he returned, I think that there's so much conversation around him. If you was to engage in a conversation with a wrestling fan, I would have to think that Bray would be mentioned at some point. So you need to know what's going on with that story. The conversation could come up about, what did you think about the White Rabbit campaign? What do you think about Uncle Howdy? Where do you think we're going with Uncle Harper? Do you think Alexa or Nikki is connected with Bray? Do you think he's targeting Alexa? Like, if you actually think about how many different conversations you can have regarding Bray's return, it's not just like, are you excited for Bray versus LA Knight? Like, that's not the only question by any means. You know, we've got questions about Wyatt Six. We've got questions about Vincent and Dutch. We've got questions about, is Rowan coming back? How are they using Bo? Who is Uncle Howdy? Who's the person behind the owl's mask? Like, do you know what I mean? There's so many different questions and conversations that can be had regarding Bray. I think if you're not watching Bray, you're missing out on a lot of stuff. So I think you need to be watching Bray Wyatt. You need to be watching Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the biggest star in wrestling right now. There's no one above him. Like, star power-wise, there is no one above him. I don't know if it's cheating to put Sammy in there as well, because I would say Sammy is the most over WWE star at the moment. So I feel like Roman and Sammy, they're both in the bloodline. I mean, I could just cheat and say bloodline. I might do that. I might just put bloodline, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of acts that I'm going to need to try and squeeze into this 5. So if I say bloodline, that'll say Roman, Sammy, Jay, that Paul Heyman. Like, that'll encompass everyone. I mean, it's a no-brainer why you need to be watching those guys. So I'll put them down. MJF, you need to be watching MJF, one of the best promos in wrestling at the moment. I mean, these are all no-brainers, but they were always going to be no-brainers. You know, these are the names that people talk about. But if you want to watch promos that actually say something, promos that don't just waffle, but they've actually got some killer lines and they get a bit personal, and you feel quite satisfied after watching the segments, you feel like you've watched something significant, then you need to be watching MJF. MJF has got that ability. So, I'd say MJF. Then I'm trying to think if there's anyone down in NXT, and sadly, it's going to be bad. I don't think there is. I mean, I'm a big fan of Thea Hale, but you don't need to be watching Thea Hale at the moment. She's only just starting out. Wendy Chu's kind of interesting, but I don't think you need to be watching her. But she's got a very different gimmick. And there was a conversation on Twitter the other day because she was on Main Event and she came out to little reaction. And someone was saying, well, this gimmick's dead, and was like kind of laying into the Wendy Chu gimmick. I really like the Wendy Chu gimmick. I don't like when the bell sounds when she's wrestling and she's messing around. You know, when she's wrestling, she's like pretending to sleep during the match and stuff like that. I think once the bell sounds, that's when you need to get competitive. This is when it becomes trying to find out who's the better wrestler, who deserves to get the victory. rather than her just like, messing about during the match. So there's a couple of little bits that I would tweak and change, but her kind of like sleepy gimmick, I think it's different. I think it's interesting. And I think it would work as well. I don't know if you saw the clip from Main Event, but she came out, right? And she was like stretched, making out as if she'd just woken up. She came down with a cup and she was waving to the fans. She had a pillar in her arm. She got down to the ring and the commentators were like, we caught up with Wendy earlier. Let's check out her promo. Let's see what she had to say. And so as she was making her way down, the little box came on screen of the promo that she did. So they showed her walk into the ring at the same time, and in the corner was her promo. And her promo was her, like, staring at the camera, grabbing the cup and going... And that was it. That was the promo. I mean, something like that is so different. It's so different that you can't help but take notice. And, like, it's a conversation starter as well. If you've never seen her before... If you've never watched NXT and you'd never seen her before and you was chatting to your mates, you would definitely be like, did you see that woman that was on Main Event that came out in her pajamas? She was in a onesie. She had a pillow. When they did her promo, she literally looked at the camera and slurped her drink and then smiled, and that was her promo. Like, she's fun. She's fun. She's not meant to be serious, right? She's not meant to be serious. She's meant to be like an R-Truth, yeah? So if you look at it more in an R-Truth way and in a fun sports entertainment way, I'm a fan of her. I am a fan of her. I know that it's silly, but I'm all right with a bit of silly as long as we don't cross a few lines. And one of those lines, as I said, is that for me, when the bell sounds, that's when we need to get serious. That's when we need to be having proper matches to try and figure out who the better wrestler is, who deserves to go after the titles, who deserves to get opportunities, who deserves to qualify for Money in the Banks or Royal Rumbles or Elimination Chambers or whatever it might be. And if she's going to like mess around during that point, that's when it'll get a bit harder for me to enjoy the character. So I'm not saying she's someone you need to watch, right? She's not in my top 5, but I'm just saying that that was doing the rounds on social media, and I think she's fun, man. I enjoy watching her. But one of the other acts, I'll go with the Acclaimed. I think the Acclaimed are one of the hottest teams at the moment. The whole Sesame Daddy stuff, Billy Gunn, all of that. Love those guys. I think they're funny. The raps are funny. When they get in the ring, they've been having bangers with Swerve in Our Glory. As we said, one of the most over teams at the moment. So really do enjoy watching those guys. The only concern is that the Sesame stuff might be getting a bit old. I think it's still all right, but it's one of those, isn't it? Like, they've already got a lot out of it, and it's hard to know how much more they can get out of it. But they have just made foam fingers in the Sesame kind of gesture. So now you can like use the foam fingers to scissor other foam fingers. I think that's pretty fun. So I'm definitely into that. So yeah, I'm into the Acclaimed. They could drop off the list though fairly soon if that scissoring stuff gets a bit old and not kept fresh, or I think they've been benefited by being in a really good feud with Swerve in Our Glory. Once that feud ends, their next feud needs to be just as engaging, just as interesting. So yeah, they're at a crossroads. I think after this Saturday, the Swerve in Our Glory feud will be over, and then it's going to be down to who do they face next. So that one, I would say that could easily drop off the list. And then I feel like we need a female, because we haven't got a female on this list, and I feel like we need a female. It's hard because I don't think there's any females that are really standing out at the moment. I mean, you could go Jamie Hayter because I think she's a big rising star. So you could go with Jamie Hayter. I think she really is one for the future. You could go Roxanne Perez for the exact same reason. So, I'd be torn between those two. Bianca's a big name at the moment, but I don't know. I don't know that she's a big name. I feel like she is probably the biggest one on the main roster. I mean, obviously Ronda, but I don't think her in-ring work, and certainly not her promos. that great. Bailey doesn't feel as hot as she did before she went away. Got it. That one's hard. I really want a female. I need to put a female down. So I think I'll probably go with Jamie Hayter. I'll go with Jamie Hayter. I've got high hopes for her. I don't know that she wins the women's championship this weekend, but she will at some point. And I could definitely see her doing whatever she wants to do. Honestly, I could see her going to WWE. I could see her main event in WrestleMania. I think she's got the credibility in ring of like an Asuka, but she obviously is a good promo and speaks English, which is a massive advantage. I also think as well, I see a little, and this is going to sound totally off, but I see a little Okada, because when she comes out and she's got her like entrance jacket, she comes out, she like throws her arms back, puts her head back, and like she kind of in a presentation, she kind of has the like, you know, the way she presents herself. It's like, I'm here. The greatest female is here. Like, you know, acknowledge me in a way. And I sort of see a bit of Okada in that. Okada, the Rainmaker, like his entrance attire is stunning. It's stunning. It's amazing. So like when he makes his way down, like, you know, the king is here. And I think I feel the same when Jamie's coming out. Like, her entrance jacket looks really cool. And the way she throws her head back and her arms back, like, just, don't know, it hits. A lot of the women just, like, you know, storm down to the ring. You see a lot of women come out of the tunnel and they just storm down to the ring. Whereas with Jamie, when she, like, presents herself, takes that moment just to throw her head back, her arms back and everything, you just go, yeah, man, she's cool. She's cool. She knows she's good. She is good. She knows she's good. And she presents herself as being, like, you know, the best. And I think she will go on to be the best. I really do. I've got high hopes for Jamie Hayter. And I know many of you appreciate her and like her as well. But she's been one of AEW's real success stories, hasn't she? I am looking forward to that match. I am really looking forward to that match this weekend. Her against Thunder Rosa. I think that'd be really, really good. I think it might be too soon to put the belt on her. But the only thing I would say is if you put the belt on Jamie Hayter, it'll be very interesting to see how Britt Baker reacts to that. Because Britt is, you know, the woman in that group. So jealousy could take over, and then boom, we could be underway with the Jamie Hayter Britt Baker feud. And oh my God, that feud is going to be incredible. Britt Baker is, you know, probably in my top 10 of most that actually should be watching. I think she's probably the most engaging, most interesting female. But I think Jamie's that and potential. And I think once we get the Jamie Hayter Britt Baker feud, oh God, that's going to be fire, man. That's going to be so good. So good. I would love to see Jamie Hayter turn face. I think you would. Yeah, I think you will, Harif. I think you will. I think when the feud starts with Britt, then I think you will see her turn face. And I think she will be in that face role. Yeah, I agree. But even when she's face, I hope she comes down and still does that, you know, throws her head and her arms back, because I just think that doing that with the belt around her waist, I want it. Imagine if she did it. They don't do it, but imagine if she did it and there was pyro, you know, that kind of pyro that like rains down. Like, imagine if that was behind her. I don't know what it's called, but it's like pyro that kind of rains down. That would be so good. That would be so good. I'm really excited about her. And she's English as well, which is just stunning. I would love to see Jamie and Britt in WWE, said Shane. Here we go then, guys. Here we go. The pyro is Sparks. Sparks. Sounds about right. Yeah. That's the thing I'm referring to. I'm trying to think who had it. I'm trying to think who uses that. I can't think off the top of my head. It's time. It is time. Did you see Ronaldo's interview? A Man United fan. I wanted your opinion, said Felix. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a bit torn on it, because I think that he's speaking his truth, and his truth is he feels disrespected. Now, whether he has been disrespected or not, I mean, that's that's up to debate, isn't it? I mean, my opinion is I think it's really sad that he feels that way. He's a legend of the game. He's someone that United fans loved. And I think they'll always love in a way, but he needs to leave. And he's doing it, so he does leave. But he needs to leave. And he will leave in January. But it's sad, isn't it? It's just sad. I'm not angry about it. I can't even say I'm that surprised by it. But it's just sad. So, yeah. I hope he goes somewhere and is happy and ends his career happy. And, you know, United will be happy without him. Because we don't tend to play him that much anyway, so let the guy go. Is it no, it's just going to be a promo here. Looks like it's going to be a promo. We got Seth freaking Rollins making his way down. Now, he's wearing a suit. Oh, well, that's gone wrong, hasn't it? He's wearing a suit. So, unless he's going to rip it off like Magic Mike style, then I think it's a promo first. Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves. Exclusive FS1 move and tape show last week SmackDown. 2.2 for 8 weeks in a row, live on Fox. Could we see them go to 2.3 for Rumble season? Yeah, sure. We've seen them go to 2.5, I think, 1 week not long ago. Of course, that was the Triple H effect. But yeah, we've been around 2.2. I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility if there's a really engaging story that we could see that lift. I doubt it. I think it's a promo, says Scott. Did Becky have Seth dye his hair? Don't think so. He seems to be dyeing it more and more and more, doesn't he? It seems even more blonde this week. He's slowly turning into Michael P.S. Hayes. So right now, Seth is in the ring. And we're just seeing what happened last week. Of course, the cash-in. The cash-in that failed Bobby attacking. Seth and Bobby attacking Theory. Theory's failed cash-in. Which I still can't believe. But I have to believe. What club should he go to? Hey, listen, what are his options? He gets paid so much money, there's no clubs that can afford him. I think United would have allowed him to have moved in the summer if there was a serious offer on the table. If a club had actually come in and said, we'll pay that. It's so much money. So much money. And you're getting a player that can put the ball in the back of the net. But his build-up play is not really that. If you need someone as a target man, get the ball into him and he can header it in. He can, get a shot off, finish off a move. I mean, he's still one of the best. But the problem is with a lot of football, and certainly Premier League football, you can't have the luxury of a player that only does that. So, yeah. And certainly not one that's going to cost as much as he is. United will let him go. I've no doubt about that. That's not the problem. It's not that we're not selling him. It's who wants him. Who will pay the money that he's looking for to have him? And that's out of United's hands. What are United meant to do? So it's on Ronaldo, isn't it? It's on Ronaldo. He's the one that's got to accept a wage reduction. It's just a real horrible situation. Right, here's Seth then. Let's see what Seth's got to say. He's probably not going to talk about Ronaldo. A decade of Rollins. Welcome to Monday Night Rollins. Yeah, Monday Night Rollins. The best Rollins. Tyrus is better than Theory, said Erase Your Mind. Erase Your Mind, hello. Hope you're well. William, hello. Austin, hello. Seth freaking Rollins. Look at his glasses. And the glasses a 7-year-old girl wears. Okay, I'm still your United States champion. He's wearing wacky clothes again. He's got a suit on. It's very pale in color, but it's got like a bit of blue in there, a bit of purple, a bit of pink. You know, on the surface of water, when you put some like oil on it or something, you kind of get that kind of weird effect with lots of colors in there. It looks like a suit of that. Mustafa Ali gets a boo. Bobby Lashley gets a bit of a cheer. He's talking about people that are coming after him. Austin Theory tried to cash in his Money in the Bank contracts on my United States Championship. That didn't work out too well for him. Seth laughs. That was stupid. That was stupid. Yeah, good. Listen to that, Triple H, you douche. That was stupid. That was stupid. That was stupid, Jan. I love this crowd. I love this crowd. That was stupid. Hopefully that's not the first time Triple H has been told that. Days latest on Ronaldo. United are getting lawyers to possibly terminate his contract in January. Yeah, they should. Justin said that was indeed stupid. Seth's suit looks like a pearl color. Oh. You got many pearls, Lee? I can't say that pearls are really prominent in my life, but I believe you. I believe you. If you get a chance, Lee, send me a picture of your pearl collection. Oh, here's Bobby. Austin said it really was stupid. Here's Bibbs. Bum, ba, ba, dum. Bum, bum. Right, the Almighty making his way down. It was meant to be stupid, says Trini. Smurfy Toon said when Asuka said back repeatedly, that means stupid in Japanese. Yeah, I saw the English translation of that. I saw the translation where someone had actually written down everything that was said between them. It wasn't very cutting, was it? Like, it was pretty soft stuff between them. Right, Bibbs wants his United States Championship back. Bibbs is wearing red and gold. Big Bob! Big Bob! Big Bob's here! Big Bob! We never really spoke about this last week, but what did Big Bob do to his boob? It must have been something during the match with Brock. But Big Bob's got like a scar on his boob. Seth's talking about the loss that Big Bob suffered at Crown Jewel. Brock Lesnar. Before Big Bob could respond, we've got someone else making their way down. It's music I'm not familiar with, so I'm guessing it's Mustafa Ali. Here's Ali making his way down. Ali has got wrestling gear on. Remember that beatdown that I gave you last week? That's nothing compared to what I'll do to you this week. Big Bob's ready to wrestle. Mustafa Ali is ready to wrestle. Are we building to a Big Bob versus Little Ali match? What's the first World Cup game you're doing? I'm excited, says Lauren. Lauren, shout out to you. I am doing the first game on Sunday, which is, oh man, it's so exciting. Qatar versus Ecuador. Come on. Yes. Rematch. So, yeah, we're doing that one. It's the, I mean, look, we'll be watching it, but of course, we'll just be talking a lot about favorites, who's going to go through. There's a dream team as well, by the way. We'll talk about it in the break. Looks like we are getting Big Bob versus Ali. I don't know if you're stupid or if you've just got guts. Get in here and get some. Okay. He's got the heart of a lion, but the brain of a worm. Yeah, so there's a fantasy game. If you are interested in the World Cup, you can go to FIFA World Cup 2022 Fantasy. If you put that in, it'll bring up a fantasy football game where you can pick players. They get points if they score, points if they get an assist, points if they keep a clean sheet, blah, 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 blah. And we will be playing that. I haven't had a chance to set up a league yet, but I will set up a league. I think what I might even do is I might put a video on the channel once it's all done with information on it. Just because, like, I think people really enjoyed that when we did it for the Premier League. So we'll definitely be doing it for the World Cup. And it's live now. You can pick your teams now. So you can actually go in and make your selections, pick your teams and everything. So that World Cup starts on Sunday. I'm guessing you need to have your teams picked by Sunday. And as I said, I'll try and get a video onto the channel. But to be honest, I've spent all day trying to do thumbnails. I'm at the point where I still probably need another good 12 hours on them because I need to make 40 odd thumbnails, which sounds fairly straightforward. But when you think like you need pictures of certain players and then you need like the team names and certain graphics and blah, 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 all these different elements, like finding them and putting it all together. Oh my God, it takes forever. So yeah, I'll try and do that when I can. Another very dry beginning of Raw, says Paul. Yeah, it is. It is. I must admit, Seth came out, basically told us what happened last week, told us all the people that are after him, which we already know. Bobby came out, said he wants his belt back. Ali came out and wasn't happy that Bobby beat him up last week. Now those two are having a match. That is pretty much the first 15 minutes of Raw summed up. Yeah, dry. Do a video with the fantasy game along with some predictions, says Lauren. I mean, I will try. This is a horrific week, to be honest, because, I mean, it's everything we normally do and then the additional prep for the World Cup. So, yeah, we'll see. I've got to be fairly non-committal. The only thing I can tell you is that we're still doing everything we always do. There will be an NXT stream. There will be an AEW stream. There will be a SmackDown stream. Like, all the normal stuff we do is happening. But I need to try and fit in all this additional stuff as well. USA is going to win the soccer Lombardi, says Shay's Garage. Tarek said, do you think Theory will get his money in the bank contract back? Do you think Theory will get his money in the bank contract back? I want him to try because it was so stupid that I think he can even point out how stupid it was. And maybe there's a chance that he can get it back. Like if he says, look, it was an open challenge. I answered the open challenge. I just got a bit impatient. I shouldn't have cashed it in. And I shouldn't need to cash it in because it was an open challenge. He might be able to argue that point. I'd like to see him at least try. I feel like Austin Theory as a heel would try anything and everything he could to get that briefcase back. But I stood in it. I mean, it's not an argument that works for me because I can find reasons as to why, like, he cashed in and he should have cashed. Well, he shouldn't have cashed in, but I can see that it was a proper cash in. Yeah, it wouldn't wash. If I was Adam Pearce, I'd be like, look, Seth was injured. The open challenge was not valid at that point. In order for you to have the match, you had to cash in. You did cash in. Your cash in failed. Go talk to someone that cares. That would be my response. But I would still like to see him try. Ali driven into the ring post. So we have got Bobby versus Ali to kick off the show from a match point of view. Ali is down. He's been chucked around the ringside area. So driven into the ring post, hurled over the commentary table. Ali is still down on the outside, trying to get back into the ring. This doesn't seem to be much of a challenge for Big Bob. Ali gets into the ring, breaks the count, holding onto his ribs. Big Bob looking at Ali. Kevin Patrick said Ali doesn't know how to quit. Big Bob has got Ali up on his shoulder, plants him down. Ali again holding onto his ribs. Bobby taking his time. Ali down in the corner. One-way traffic at the moment. Lee said Bobby is not playing around. Gethin said, didn't think you could have a worse cash-in than Braun Baron Corbin's, but Theory did it. I agree. Iconic Shadows said, could he have answered the open challenge and then cashed in immediately? Could he have answered the open challenge and then cashed in immediately? I don't even understand that. If he answers the open challenge, then the match should be happening because it was an open challenge and Austin Theory has answered it. The fact that Seth was down in pain because he'd just been attacked by Bobby and the medics and people were checking on him. I mean, in order for you to have a match, you have got to be medically able to have a match. You've got to be able to medically compete. If you're not in a medical condition to compete, then you can't have the match. And so for me, I think it's questionable as to whether Seth was in a medical condition to even have a match. So at that point, whilst he's being checked over, I don't think that the open challenge stands. So that's why for me, the argument is going to fail because Theory had to cash in to have that match with Seth. If he doesn't cash in, I don't think the open challenge is open or available at that point. The only reason that match happened last week is because he cashes in his Money in the Bank. And the thing with Money in the Bank is you can do it at any moment. Doesn't even matter if they're medically cleared or not. You can do it at any moment, at the most opportune moment for you. So Seth was sort of forced into having that match, even though he wasn't in a medical condition, medical shape to have it. I think it's the only way someone can compete if they're not in a medical condition. Spear by Big Bob. Massive spear. Ali is turned inside out. Hurt lock applied. Hurt lock in the middle of the ring. Ali is jobbed. We might as well call him Jobbosaurus. He has been made to job out. Ali goes down on both knees. He's passing out here. Referee saying to stop it. Bell rings. Big Bob wins with the hurt lock. Monstrous spear. I mean, in all fairness, Ali took a hell of a beating. But that was absolute one-way traffic. Bobby Lashley wins. I can do this all day already, Mustafa. Where is the FIFA World Cup fantasy? You should just go to Google, put in FIFA World Cup 2022 fantasy, and it should bring it up. I was actually on it just the other day, so I know it's there and I know it's live. I haven't done my team. FIFA World Cup 2022 fantasy. There's Kathy backstage. Mia Yim is here. Mia Yim. I'll put the link in the chat to that thing, but I don't know that it's gonna... might work. Try it. That's the link that I've just put in the chat. If you do want to have a go at that, and we will set up a league. Have a bit of fun with it. We did it for the Premier League. I think we had about 150 people playing. It's pretty good. And that was on the second channel. Mia Yim is looking like a blue Becky Lynch. That's what she's looking like. Do you remember when Becky was in her steampunk phase? She's got the goggles and everything. So they're talking about Mia Yim being the toughest woman in the building. Michin. It means crazy in Korean, Michin. Check out Michin. Here's my face. Here's Michin. Keep the beers on ice, says Mia Yin. What's the point of Mustafa being squashed every Raw by Lashley? I think Mustafa's probably asking the same question, to be honest. Matthew said, is this Raw? Yes. Inside Out and Again said, bring back Bob Backlund. I'm always down for bringing back Bob to be Austin Theory's manager. Yes, I'm always down for that. The crowd is dead, said Jeremy. Well, I mean, look, the crowd haven't really had anything to get them pumped up. I mean, you've had Seth go out and say a few words, but it's hardly the most exciting of promos. Followed by a match which was one-way traffic. I just don't think there's any excitement around Mustafa Ali. I don't think they've built him up at all. There's no reason to really care about Mustafa Ali, or whenever we see him, he tends to be getting beaten up. He's just not been treated as a big star or someone to get that excited about. So yeah, that was Bobby destroying a mid-carder at best. At best. And it was one-way traffic, wasn't it? So yeah, so far 23 minutes. Not really anything to talk about, apart from Michin. 98% of Raw crowds are always dead. This crowd is not really dead, said Junior. They might not be a dead crowd, but as I said, they've not had anything to get their teeth into yet. They did chant that was stupid, in all fairness to them, so I love them for that. Who's your least favorite wrestler on the current roster? I don't really have one, to be honest. I mean, anyone that's just not got much momentum, anyone that's just dead. Do you know what I mean? Anyone that's just bland and I don't know. I can't really think of a name at the moment. I don't really like. My opinion changes on wrestlers as they get used. So, like for example, Mustafa Ali at the moment, he feels very flat to me. I'm not excited whenever he comes out. So I can't say he's my least favorite, but I'm not enthused by him. I'm not excited by him. Anyone that's just flat. I mean, I must admit, like, I feel the same really about Otis. I mean, Otis, like, tends to... He's not funny. At least Chad Gable's got, like, a bit of humor. It's very repetitive with the shoosh, but at least he's got something. I don't feel like Otis really has even got that. He's just there. And, I mean, he's got a strength, I suppose, but, I don't know, it's hard to care about an Otis match, isn't it? Anyone that you watch and it's just sort of hard to care about their matches. Those people. And to be honest, there's probably quite a few names in that bracket, you know. Alpha is boring, says Tony. As Miracle Max would say, they're only mostly dead. Oh, Black Sabbath, War Pigs. War Pigs is the official theme for War Games. June. off the iconic album Paranoid. Right, here is Mia Yim. What's her music? Mia Yim making her way down. Mia Yim then in action. Her music sounds similar to what we've heard, but I don't know that it's identical. So looks like we're getting dream match Mia Yim versus Tamina. Dream match. Dream match. Let's go, War Pig, said Tony. Great choice, innit? Great choice. This was great last week with Mia Yim. Who will win the World Cup? I am leaning towards Brazil. I'm leaning towards Brazil. I think their team is just incredible. Just boos. Who's booing? Who's booing? Someone's come out. Oh, Rhea Ripley has got Rippers is here. Rippers has come out. So Mia Yim against Tamina. Rhea Ripley has come out to have a little look. Do a bit of scouting. Boos from the crowds. She's not alone. She's come out with Dominic, of course. Young lovers, eh? Young lovers. You can never separate them. They always want to be around each other. Are they chanting, who's your daddy? Who's your pappy, I think. Tamina with a splash as Mia Yim moves out the way. Mia Yim down in the corner. I mean, look, this should be a little challenge, but it shouldn't be too much of a challenge. Forearm strikes coming in here by Mia Yim. And again, kick coming in. Another kick. Gets pushed back, charges over, ducks underneath, against the ropes. Head scissors, nice. Good work by Mia Yim. Mia Yim back in the corner, runs over. Big boot there by Mia Yim. Mia Yim screams over at the crowds. Mia has got Tamina in the middle of the ring, getting a little bit lost. Tamina into the corner, forearm strike. Does seem like she doesn't. There's just a few times where she's like not quite sure what to do. Like she grabs her, she's like into the corner. Then she like runs over. Forearm. When she hits the rope, she doesn't really hit the ropes with intensity. Candice does that. It does my head in. Goes against the ropes, she's like, boop. It's like hitting the ropes is an inconvenience. Boop. I like when people really go into the ropes, you know. It's a win, though, for Mia Yim. She gets the job done. A few little kicks by Mia Yim towards the end of this one. Damage Control were backstage watching the action as well. Rhea Ripley's coming down to the ring. Mia Yim is inviting her into the ring. Come on in. She wants... There's Rhea chance. There's Rhea chance. Damn, there's Rhea chance. Boos. Boos as Rhea decides to not get in the ring. I'm in your head, says Rhea. I'm in your head. Crowd were chanting for Rhea. Right, we're backstage with Riddle. He's got his bong. There's Kathy. What up, Kathy? Where is Elias? Elias has agreed to be in a band with Riddle. Shush, please. Right, we've got a shush off. Riddle, Kathy is hot, said Gene. Oh, the Bloodline on tonight. There was no announcements for the Bloodline. Right. Shush, please. Shush. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Riddle versus Gable next. Bruh. Shush. Shush, please. Gable's physique is great. It is great, actually. He does have a great physique. Scott says, lol. Will Alexa be on tonight? I believe so, yes. They haven't said so, but I believe so. British Soundboard Prank said, modern crowds don't seem to like baby faces these days. They're always chanting heels. Is that a reflection of modern society? Yeah, I just think they like cool things. And to be honest, I think Rhea Ripley is just cool. I mean, she's just really cool, isn't she? The whole pappy thing is really cool. Her relationship with Dominic is really cool. So it's I don't know that it's necessarily like heels that crowds are into, or if it's just who's the coolest. Do you know what I mean? Like Roman's a heel, but he's also really cool. So I can understand why people would chant for him. Alpha Academy are heels. They're not that cool. They're not that cool. I don't know that the crowds would be chanting for them because they're heels. So I feel like it's not so much, you know, Ronda, for example, she's a heel. I don't think the crowd will be chanting for her. She's not, I think she's cool, but I think wrestling fans don't think she's that cool because I think she's a bit limited on the mic and, you know, a little limited in the ring because if she really wanted to go, she could kill everyone. So she's having to like work a pro wrestling style, kind of rein in a lot of things, and I think she's struggling with that. So her matches, unless like it's street fight weapons, let's just go for it. Unless she can like have that freedom, then just a wrestling match where she's having to do like pro wrestling moves, like she struggles with that. So I think it's a coolness rather than let's just cheer the heels. It's just a lot of the heels are cool. There are better people than Ronda, a.k.a. Charlotte and Becky. I've said it a billion times, said Harris. Is Survivor Series on Sky Box Office here in the UK? No, it would be on BT Box Office because BT have got the WWE rights. But it'll be on the WWE network as well. And that's cheaper. I watched back the segment on Friday with Roman and Usos backstage. He didn't say he had unfinished business. He said he had business to take care of. Okay. But that's, I mean, I'm really interested in what he is building towards. I think he was building towards The Rock. I really do. I think that, and again, it might just be because I'm hoping that it's going to go that way. But I think the fact that he said, I never expected to do this, and then said, Jay, there was clearly a conversation that was coming. There was clearly something significant that was about to be said. You don't start a sentence by saying, I never expected to have to do this. Jay. And then he gets interrupted. What was he going to say? It was going to be significant. And I feel like he was talking a lot about how he was like the head of the table, the tribal chief and all of that, but I never expected to do this. And so I feel like that must be connected. And that's what made me think, is he got a bit of doubt that he's head of the table? Is there some doubt that he's the tribal chief? Where would that doubt come from? But we need more clues, to be honest. Now, I don't think we'll get them till after Survivor Series. Anyway, we're backstage with Damage Control. They've confronted Mia Yim. Seems like they're trying to recruit Mia Yim. You need to remind people who Mia is. It doesn't make any sense, does it? She's a face. Don't they know they're heels? I appreciate the offer. Don't think too long. Here's the OC. AJ, Gallows. And then they got the beers. Okay. So Damage Control trying to recruit Mia. They tell her to think about it. I'm really liking the OC, actually. I was quite critical of Gallows and Anderson coming back, but it's working for me. I think they're pretty fun, you know. As I said, Gallows trying to sort the Rhea problem, and then he came back and he hadn't sorted it, and he was like holding on to his little Anderson. And then, you know, just seeing them like go and get the beers, and they're like, hey, got the beers and everything with Mia Yim and their relationship with Mia Yim. I think that's quite fun. I'm quite interested to explore that. She's kind of one of the boys, you know. It's good. I like it. I've warmed to them. Bongos and a scooter, said Erase Your Mind. Shush, please. Mia has no problem with Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka, and she does not want to fight them, says British Soundboard Pranks. Jeffrey said, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Wrestle with Andy said, do you remember Riddle was white hot 6 months ago, ready for main events? Do you think he'll get back? Yes, I just think he's on the back burner at the moment. So he is like a great talent, and he's, I mean, like, do you remember when he had that match with Roman, how good that was? Like, he had a championship match on SmackDown against Roman that was, I mean, it was brilliant. It really was brilliant. His shtick works when he's got a straight guy to bounce off. So when he's with Randy, and Randy can be like, oh my God, this guy. Like, you know, and like, you can see Randy's reaction as a more normal person to like Riddle's wackiness. That's where the humor comes from. If you don't have that person to bounce off, though, it's just, I'm going to say it's a bit cringe. It's cringe. Him walking around saying, do you want to hit my bong? I mean, it's funny for the first week. You might get a smile the second week. By the third week, I'm done. Right? I don't need it. And I certainly don't need that story. It's not even a story, but that joke to continue, you know? Well done. You came up with something that was funny. Well done. It's time for something different now. So, yeah, I don't know. Riddle on his own is a problem, I think. He can still get there. Definitely, he can still get back to, like, main events. But I think they do need to tweak his presentation. And it felt like they was. Because if you think about his feud with Seth, that was actually quite serious. Like, he was so intense. Like, he just wanted to get his hands on Seth. He wanted to rip Seth apart, and it was really passionate at times. I mean, do you remember them brawling at SummerSlam? And it was a different way of presenting Riddle, and I thought it was a lot more interesting. But as soon as that feud has ended, thanks to the Fight Pit, he's just gone back to who he was, you know? So, yeah, I think if there's a straight guy for him to bounce off, it works. On his own, I think he needs to be represented. Kick coming in there by Riddle. We are underway anyway with Riddle versus Chad Gable. Nice suplex. Unfinished business when Jay attacked Logan, and then he said he didn't give a damn what the tribal chief thought, said Jeremy. Iania says, where do you think Charlotte is? Well, apparently she had an injury that she needed to deal with. And then apparently there's some personal stuff that's been going on that Andrade said we will find out about eventually. Obviously, there's a bit of speculation as to what that is, but I don't know what it is. It's not come out as to what it is. So, I don't know is the answer. I expected her back. I thought she was going off to deal with the little injury and get married. I think she did those things, but it appears that something else has happened, and we don't know what it is. So, without that knowledge, I don't know when she's back. We might be looking at Rumble. As you get closer to the Rumble, you start thinking, well, we might as well just bring them back at the Rumble now. I mean, granted, it's still a couple of months away, right? So they might, if she's ready, they might bring her back before then. But I don't know. It's been so long. I don't think we've seen her since May. I'm sure the last time we saw her was WrestleMania Backlash. It's been a hot minute. A single strand of spaghetti is called a spaghetto. Is it? Spaghetto? Is it? Is that true? A spaghetto. Is she pregnant? Don't know. Feels like we're back in the Vince McMahon era of Raw. There is nothing to see here, says British Soundball Pranks. I agree so far. BBB Yipsy said, Days, would you welcome back Nia Jackson Lana for a one-time only match? And Nia puts Lana through a table for old time's sake. Would I welcome that back? I mean, if Lana came down and had a match, say Lana had a match with, I don't know, Bianca or whatever, right? She loses the match, she's in the ring, and she waves to the fans and she's about to go. And then Nia comes down, grabs her, puts her through a table. I'd love that. That'd be brilliant. And if it was like a one-time thing, yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. So, Lana comes back to say goodbye to the fans. I mean, they would never do that, of course. Why would they bring them in for one match? I mean, why would they do that? And why would they do that for Lana? But if you're asking me, would I be all right if they did it? Then yeah, I ain't got no problem with that. Put Lana in the ring, has a match, loses to someone like Bianca, and then here's Nia Jax, makes her way down. I'd love to see Lana's face one more time. Like, she's lost, she's gutted, she's waving to the fans. Like, thank you. You mean so much to me. And then Nia's, I'm not like most girls. Music is like... That could be all right, When is it starting? It has started. It started 44 minutes ago. 44 minutes ago. Right now, we've got Matt Riddle versus Chad Gable. Nick Aldis in WWE soon. I'll be down for Nick Aldis. Going into WWE. I like Nick Aldis. Excellent as NWA champion. Haven't watched him in a while because I haven't been watching NWA. But I can only presume he's just as good as he was when I was watching. So, yeah, I'd be really down for that. Charlotte is pregnant, says Jeffrey. Dark Angel says, people ask him when it starts. That's all right. It's nice to have new friends to talk to. The longest word in the world is 189,819 letters long. It takes 3.5 hours to say. True. I mean, why? That must have been made up for that record. No one would make a word up that takes 3.5 hours to say just to drop in conversation. So I'd like to know the backstory on that word. Tyrus is the NWA champion, says Gina. I did see that. William said, the only way I can see Aldis in WWE would be as a GM. Roman's boyfriend, said J-Boy. What, Nick Aldis? Not a story I'd be expecting to see, but hey-ho. Riddle with some strikes kicks. And Riddle grabs Chad's knee strike there by Riddle. Chad goes down, kip up by Riddle. Riddle charges over, forearm strike, against the ropes. Whoa, look at that. Hammers Chad's. Lovely suplex. Gable down in the center. Senton, Broton. Kick by Riddle, but it misses. Chad tries to roll him up. Got him up. Power bomb. Lovely work there by Riddle. Knee strike. Gable down to kick out by Gable. Would you say if WWE and AEW had a tournament in one night, or would you enjoy if WWE AEW had a tournament in one night? Do you like it better split into different shows? I don't mind a tournament in one night. I mean, they used to do King of the Ring in one night, and that was fine. That was great. The only problem you've got is that, you know, you're asking someone to have, say, 3 matches in one night, which is pretty rough. But not only are you asking them to do that, but obviously the risk of injury. I mean, they're having to like wrestle, cool down, and then get ready for another match and wrestle and then cool down and then get ready for another match. Like that puts a strain on the body rather than just go out, get ready, warm up, have a match and then cool down, you know? So doing it in one night is tricky. It's not impossible by any means. I mean, the human body is able to do it, but it's a little bit tricky. And I don't know. I feel like you get a better tournament if you do it over a period of time rather than in one night. I think the way I would do it is I've said before, I love the idea of everyone being in King of the Ring and like Queen's Crown. Have everyone in it apart from the main champions, and then do it on all the shows, whittle it down, get to King of the Ring, and then do the semi-final and the final same night. So it's 2 matches. You do your semi-final, and then you do the final. I feel like that's all right. Do them at the start of the night, and then do the finals at the end of the night, have some matches in between. I feel like that's all right. So, I mean, or you could just do the final, but I do like the idea of, you know, 4 people going into the show and you don't know which of the 4 is going to be crowned the winner. That's a bit more interesting than it just being the 2 that are in the final, you know? So, my answer would be I would space it out. Riddle on the feet, charging over. Gable hooking the arms, backslide, using the ropes, cheating. Gable wins by cheating. Gable beats Riddle. Boos from the crowd. So that is an Otis assist. So there was a backslide. Otis grabbed Gable's feet, put them, held them onto the ropes, held them down. It meant that Riddle couldn't get the momentum to kick out. And it's a win for Chadwick Gable. Backstage, someone's playing poker. Who's playing poker? The Wrestling Gods and JBL. Okay, so the Wrestling God has just beaten some backstage. They've said, we've got some fine Kentucky bourbon for you. JBL said, I don't need anything from these Kentucky hillbillies. So this is pretty fun. I like this. Ugandan Reserve Prime Whiskey. Who sat down at the table? Akira Tozawa. I play poker, says Akira. Puts on some comedy glasses. Wait. Have you ever played poker before? Akira says no. Do you know any of the rules? No. JBL's like, right, your money is good. JBL's excited to rip off Akira Tozawa. I play poker. Don't know why he put on the comedy glasses. Don't know why we're putting the wrestling god into a comedy segment. But that's what we've done. Right, here is The Miz. Now, The Miz is going to apologize. APA. Is he going to do the whole show crying about Roman? Who's crying? Who's crying? Right, Miz Apology. Mitchell, shout out to you, buds. Oh, he's going to sit down with Byron Saxton. So Miz TV coming up. Miz Apology. You do not want to miss this, guys. Big segment. Does the link work, by the way? You have to let me know if that fantasy football thing works. If that works, I'll put that in each of the streams this week. If it does work. It is a legit link, by the way. Mitchell said, okay, this is my hot take. Mitchell's hot take. I hate the Riddle character out of the ring. Does not match his in-ring style. And I hate that his in-ring style is just honoring Orton. His character feels out of sorts. That was Mitchell's hot take. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I think his in-ring character is all about striking. It's very MMA based. You know, he doesn't wear boots, for example, or he's explained why. But it's kind of very reminiscent of MMA. They don't wear footwear. You know, they're barefooted. We know that Riddle came from that world. He's got excellent striking. He feels kind of legit in the ring. I suppose in a way it's sort of fun to have him be a bit of a killer in the ring and a real threat in the ring, and then have him like bongoing around backstage. I can sort of see why you would want to do that counter. You would want to do that. But I do agree that I think for me, if he was genuinely funny outside of the ring, it would be easier to accept. I think it's just a problem that I don't find him funny. I don't find him funny. I think he appeals to certain people. I think, as I said, without that straight guy to bounce off, I don't think the humor lands or works as well. And now the poor guy finds himself in a feud with Chad Gable and Alpha Academy. I mean, not brilliant, is it? He's gone from competing against Roman for the title to now being in a feud where he's getting screwed over in a match with Chad Gable. I mean, this sort of feels like they just don't really know what to do with him at the moment. So I largely agree, dude. Yeah. That was Mitchell's hot take. Eric said, if Corbin drank, he can't wrestle tonight, right? No, you can drink and wrestle, but you have to make sure that you don't have more than the legal limit. It's very important, guys. You can't, drinking and wrestling. You could seriously injure someone. Drinking and wrestling's a funny thing, isn't it? Because, I mean, we used to see Stone Cold downing beers all the time and then getting into the ring and, having matches. So, like we used APA would be drinking backstage and, drinking and wrestling, you would think shouldn't be allowed because you have to keep your opponent safe. It's a really good point when you think about it. Once you put all the joking aside, like, yeah, you're probably right. You shouldn't drink and wrestle because you're talking about doing moves that if you get them just slightly wrong could end up paralyzing the opponent, could cause life-altering injuries, could cause death. Like, these moves, if done incorrectly, they are, fatal. Certainly some of them. So the fact that you've got wrestlers backstage drinking and whatever, I could see it being a problem. Thankfully, it's to my knowledge, not been a problem. I'm not aware of anyone getting so drunk they then went to the ring and just botched a move and caused problems. Which is amazing when you think about where wrestling has been in the past. I don't think it's a problem now. But back in the day, in the territories and everything, I wonder if that ever did happen. It must have happened. It must have happened. I can't give you an example from WWE. I can't give you an example full stop, actually. It must have happened. Someone got drunk, got trashed, came to the ring, and then messed up a match so bad their opponent got injured. Must have happened. Here's The Miz, anyway. That's certainly nothing The Miz would do, and not whilst he's wearing that sensible cardigan. But we are back from commercial. We are. Byron's taking a seat. Is this Byron TV? He should have called it Byron TV. He should have called it Byron TV. Miz has got a picture of his family. He's wearing a cardigan. He's got sensible hair. I prepared a statement. So The Miz has got a statement. He said, if you can be silent, I would appreciate it. And that obviously, I'm very emotional, says The Miz. Here we go. Miz Apology coming up. Here we go. Thinks you suck? This means the world if you could just be quiet. Lovely picture of the family. Booze. I regret paying Dexter. He says, I regret paying Dexter. All I ever wanted was empathy. So he is admitting to it. I've been here for 18 years. Never injured. And if I was injured, I would still be here, says The Miz. And not so much of it as a cheer. Not even a pat on the back. I've asked for very little. Dexter kept taking and taking. I couldn't see any end in sight. He says that Dexter was greedy. Miz said he was telling the private investigator what she wanted to hear. So Miz's story is that he did hire Dexter to take him and kidnap him to build some sympathy. But Dexter became greedy, and so that's why he stopped paying him. In reality, I am just a devoted father. He was cooped up in his bedroom all weekend. Depressed. Is Johnny going to reveal that he wasn't in his bedroom all weekend depressed and he was actually out partying or something? And that's another lie from The Miz. You weren't depressed? Boom. You was actually on vacation this weekend? I mean, we could all see that coming. It was on the internet, says Johnny. There's pictures on Instagram. Another lie. Mitchell said, and my cold take, cheeseburgers are great. Mitchell, you've called it, mate. Mitchell's cold take. You always take the easy way. Not you, Mitchell. Miz. Kerry Von Erich wrestled a match drunk high on WWF live show. Yes, but did it result in injury? Andre the Giant used to wrestle drunk all the time, but did it result in injury? Byron is getting dragged into this. Why is Johnny in this, says Miz? Johnny Wrestling. They do start chanting Johnny Wrestling. So the Miz wants to know why Johnny is involved. He told Byron to just shut up and ask the questions he said he could ask. Johnny said, I do love that chant. Johnny Hungy. Everyone knows you're a liar. You always have been, and you always will be. It is a cardigan. It's a lovely cardigan, actually. I don't know what they're chanting. They're trying to chant Senate. He gets called Mr. Rogers. In all fairness, Mr. Rogers is a legend. Miz says he's a good guy. Miz says he's sorry. Can we just move on so I can be the cornerstone of this company? Johnny says, why don't you just pay Dexter what you owe him? Miz is getting very animated. Here we go. We're getting somewhere. So, 2 weeks in this ring. This will all come to an end. It's versus Dexter. Miz versus Dexter in 2 weeks. So if Dexter wins, Dexter wins, Miz pays him and he gets a contract. There we go. Who cares about this? Dexter? Awesome. There we go, 2 weeks' time. He didn't say Survivor Series. I'm guessing 2 weeks on Raw. Cameraman gets in the ring. Cameraman's pretty jacked. Cameraman's got blonde hair. Cameraman's got a moustache. Cameraman looks a lot like Dexter Lumis. Miz runs away. The cardigan has been left behind. Johnny puts the cardigan on, guys. Johnny puts the cardigan on. Dexter in the ring. The crowd needs to chant, "We don't care," says Julie. It's a weird story, isn't it? It's a weird story. I still feel, I mean, like, it's weird because am I meant to have sympathy for Dexter Lumis because he agreed to kidnap and work with The Miz and then The Miz didn't pay him? I just sort of think, like, well, if you're going to get into business with The Miz and you get screwed over, like, shouldn't you just expect that to happen? I mean, he was in WWE. It's not like he doesn't know who The Miz is. It's not like he was in NXT not aware of who The Miz is. We're backstage with Shelton. Why is there an emergency exit there? How does that door work? How does that door work? How does that door work? There's a door, and then there's a massive, like, hole next to it. Is there like a shutter that's meant to come down, do you think? It's just like a random door in the middle of a corridor. We got Dominic and Shelton getting face-to-face here. I think there is a shutter that's meant to come down. Dominic getting arrogant now that Damian Priest has stepped up to Shelton. That door, man. I love that door. I wouldn't mind working on my problems tonight, says Shelton. Settle it in the ring. So it's going to be Dominic versus Shelton. Notice how we're getting all these segments just before the matches happen. Like, we're just getting... I think these are, like, random matches that they're trying to make seem less random by giving us some backstage... I mean, I appreciate the effort. I think I would just like the matches to not be as random, though. Or have a bit more build, maybe. Here comes Dominic, though. So we are going on to the next match. Next match is going to be Dominic. We've already had an hour and 8 minutes of this show. Dominic versus Shelton Benjamin. My favorite part of the show so far is the random door that just didn't need to be there. That is totally my favorite part of the show. Rest with Andy said the heel turn has been the best thing that's ever happened to Dominic. Yes. Mainly because he gets to hang around Rhea Ripley. Oh, she's whispering something in his ear. I don't like you. Knowing Rhea Ripley, that's exactly what she said. Just so you know, I don't like you. Right. Mitchell, dude, you don't need to keep sending in super chats, bud. Is it another hot take? Sure, let's say it is. Mitchell's hot take. As wrestling fans, we've got to call out when stories stink. Whether it's AEW or WWE, and this Miz storyline stinks. Why is Johnny involved? Is the end game to reunite the Gargano NXT faction the way? Question mark. I mean, look, Johnny is obviously always going to be connected with Candice. I think that Johnny's relationship with Dexter means that if he sees that Dexter is being abused, then he will naturally feel like a part of it. I mean, now that Theory has lost his Money in the Bank briefcase, does that free him up to turn face and join up with Johnny? And like Indy can be called up at any time. So, I mean, look, we could be going that way. I can't say that is the end game just because there's so many hurdles that we would have to overcome. Like we would have to turn Theory face, put him in the story. We'd have to call up Indy. And then we'd have to put all the group together. So there's a few steps that we'd have to take I don't know that this story is enough for me to say, yeah, that it looks like that's where we're going. But I can certainly agree that it's a possibility that that's what comes out of this. I think for me, I don't mind Johnny revealing the secret. And I thought the secret was all right. The only problem is that it doesn't build. I don't have any sympathy for Dexter. I don't care that Dexter's been screwed over. Like, that's his fault. He should never have got into bed with The Miz, basically. He should never have got into business with The Miz. The Miz will always screw you over. He is a heel. He's always been a heel. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's not paying Dexter what was agreed. But you've got to remember, like, Dexter also fooled the fans. We thought that Dexter was desperately trying to get at The Miz for some reason that would become evident further down the road. Turns out there was no reason. He was being paid by The Miz. I like it. It's an interesting swerve, but it does nothing for Dexter. It does nothing for Dexter. Doesn't build up any sympathy for Dexter whatsoever. And so now we've got Dexter versus Miz, and I got to be honest, I don't really give a flip as to who wins. If Dexter wins and gets his contract like he's going to, great. But, I mean, it doesn't work really that well as a story, does it? Because I'm not like, and I don't think the fans are crazy into Dexter. This has done really nothing for Dexter. I don't know. It's just, I feel like they've done it because the swerve is interesting. But if you look at the story and the bigger picture, does it make Dexter a bigger star? The only thing you can say is that it puts him in a story, gets him on the show, and that helps, obviously. It's better that he's doing this than sat in catering. But yeah, not the best story that they've got going. So, yeah, I mean, look, could the end game be that we get the way? At least if it does achieve that, we've got something juicy out of it, you know? At least then we've got something good out of this story, but I don't know that it's going that way. Don't know that it's going that way. It'd be good if it did. I love the way. There was so much fun down in NXT. It's one of my favorite parts of NXT. Right, we were at commercial break, but we're going back to the show. Dominic is in the ring. Judgment Day are in the ring. No Finn Balor. Of course, he's got a match later tonight against Seth. Haven't seen him yet. So it's Damian, it's Rhea, and it is Dominic in the ring. And we're just waiting for Shout. I don't even know what Shelton Benjamin's music sounds like. I can't remember. Shelton Benjamin is about to make his way down. Right. Days, you are ahead of me. Oh, I don't know why. Normally we're about in line. What World Cup team will be a surprise? What World Cup team will be a flop? Surprise. I mean, I feel like Senegal are the African champions. They could definitely surprise people. Switzerland did well at the Euros last year, actually knocked France out, and France are one of the favourites. If they've got that same ability, that same work ethic, if they can stay defensively tight, I mean, they tend to be hard to score against. They don't tend to score, but what they did is they took the game to penalties, and then they knocked France out on penalties. You know, you could see Switzerland get a big scalp and knock a big team out. Serbia are good. Croatia are good. Denmark are good. There's a few that are bubbling underneath the big names that can definitely cause problems. It's a very interesting World Cup, actually. It's a very interesting World Cup. I do think there's a few teams that could win. Brazil have got a hard group, you know. Brazil's group is not that easy. So if Brazil have a slow start and don't pick up, like, you know, get into a bit of a groove, say the first match is like a draw or even a loss, very interesting what happens in their second match. I haven't actually seen what their matches are, but they've got some tough games coming up in their group. They should get through, but God, I'd love it if they didn't. If they didn't, imagine if they don't. France really might not put it together. France really can always implode. But Brazil's my pick to win it. I think once they get going, that's it. I think I don't think they'll be stopped. The hope is they just don't get going. Dominic goes out the ring. What's your prediction about Roman WrestleMania 39? I think it'll be against The Rock. Surprise, hard to say, isn't it? Because I don't know who's still going to be out at that point. So I can't really say like surprise returns because, I mean, when's Big E coming back? When's Cody coming back? When's Becky coming back? When's Charlotte coming back? Without knowing, it's hard to say. So that one we'll have to probably answer a little bit closer to it. I'm not expecting a Cody moment. I'm not really expecting anything along those lines. But there's big names that have been out for a long time that could come back around that time. But I think a lot of those were expecting to be back either at Rumble or just before. Like Cody, for example, I'm definitely expecting him back at Rumble. Over the top rope, and Shelton goes down. Would you say Judgment Day have been the most notable part of Priest's career? Will he ever be involved in something bigger? Hello, Darcy. Hope you are, buds. Yes, I would say this has been the best use of Damian Priest. Even down in NXT, I thought he had limitations. He got called, I mean, he was never NXT champion, for example. I can't even remember if he competed for the title down in NXT. But he was not someone that they used, like, at the top of the cards. He was a steady hand, but yeah, I would say that this has been the best presentation of him. Judgment Day's been good for him. But, I mean, I think that he will go on to have a good career. He's shown that he's, pretty decent on the mic, pretty decent in the ring. He's got a good size to him as well. He's got a good look. So I think he'll go on to have a decent career. But I can't see him going on. He's a little bit Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin's got a good size to him. He's all right on the microphone. But you just don't see them being like a world champion. I can't see Baron Corbin being a world champion. Even now, and he's with JBL, I can't see that being the end game. I just can't see it. I think it's more likely now that he's with JBL that they're really trying to build him up. But he's been on the main roster so long, and it's not happened for him yet. I kind of feel the same about Damian Priest. He's a big guy, but I can see him just being stuck in the mid-card throughout his career. Shelton with an ankle lock. Did you watch Ronaldo's interview? No, I've seen the headlines. I don't feel like I need to see anything else. I don't need to see him trashing United. I'm not really interested, to be honest. Just get rid of him. He wants to go. I don't want him there. So, get rid of him. Not really too bothered about what he said. People should stop complaining or stop watching, says Courtney. TJB said Stone Cold comes back and wins the Rumble to face Roman at WrestleMania 39. Who do you think Stone Cold will face at Mania, said Airflow? Well, I mean, apparently they've approached him. I don't know that he's accepted. I mean, I'm guessing he might accept. There'll be plenty of options. Plenty of options. He could face Sammy. Frog splash there by... So Shelton was distracted by Damian Priest. That allowed Dominic to hurl him into the ring post. As a result of that, he was able to then hit a DDT and get the victory. So Dominic Mysterio. Dominic beats Shelton. So Dominic beats Shelton. Distraction by Damian Priest. Besides Paul Heyman, can you see anyone with the potential to be a great manager like Cornette or Heenan or Jimmy Hart? They just don't use managers, do they? I'm trying to think what his theory. His theory. The answer would be no. I can't see any managers that are around. They just don't seem to be that bothered about managers in modern wrestling. Even Heyman calls himself a wise man rather than a manager. In no world does Dominic beat Shelton. It's terrible booking, said Kim. I think Rollins should dethrone Roman and then Cody wins it from him. I'm down for that. Ripley could be the next great manager after her championship reign. Darcy said, Theory better cut a career-making promo. Yes, I have no idea what he's going to say. What do you think he's going to say? How the flip does he explain what he did last week? What does he say? Don't know what he says. I have no idea what he says. I would imagine when he turned up today, he was kind of interested to find out what he was going to be doing and what he was going to say. With Kevin Owens out of War Games, what wrestler do you think will replace Kevin Owens? I don't know that he was going to be in War Games. Anyway, I mean, I like the idea of Wade Barrett. I put a tweet out about that. I stand by it. I think Wade Barrett should be that person. We spoke earlier about how Survivor Series is one of the big four and should be treated like one of the big shows. And so I think you've already got your story. Your story is Drew feels cheated by what happened to him at Clash. Sheamus feels hurt by the attack from a few weeks ago. You've got the Brawling Brutes who were just involved in a feud with the Usos. And obviously they're upset about what happened to Sheamus. And so, yeah, look, you can find someone else that's got an issue with Roman. Or you can take the opportunity to have a special moment and put, like, you know, Wade Barrett in the match. The reason why I like that is because this Survivor Series is the night after England versus USA. So England versus USA, whatever happens, is going to be a big conversation on that Saturday. The result from Friday will be a big talking point on Saturday. And it just feels, if you look at the team, like they are leaning into that because you've got Sheamus, who's from Ireland. You've got Drew from Scotland. You've got Butch and you've got Ridge, who are both from England. So it kind of feels like these islands are where they've got the opponents from. And Paul Heyman even mentioned, he actually said USA versus UK is what he said, which isn't correct. He was talking about the World Cup in the promo just before the Brawling Brutes attacked. He said he was talking about big sporting moments, and he referenced the World Cup and he referenced that match, and he got it wrong. And I'm wondering if he got it wrong on purpose because he wants people to think that the UK are having a match against the USA, because then, you know, you can copy that, and that's why Drew is involved, because obviously Drew is Scottish, he's not English. In all fairness, Sheamus is Irish. He's not part of the UK, but it's all these islands. So I look at it and I go, well, if they do want to lean into the hype that's going to be around England versus USA, and Survivor Series is only 24 hours after that, Wade Barrett makes a lot of sense because he's English. He said that he can have matches. This is a match that would protect him because it's a multi-person match. It would be a big deal because we've not seen Wade back in the ring. Ticks a lot of boxes. So I would go that way. I would have gone that way over Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens being in the match is a bit weak, but we can come back to that. His theory. No one understands me. No one understands the pressure. No one understands the pressure I'm under. I was touted to be the next big thing. I became the face of the franchise. The world wants to see me fail. I feel more alive than I ever have. The Money in the Bank was an anchor. Roman Reigns is unstoppable. Buried the Money in the Bank, said Junior. Worst cash-in ever, says Dolph. Yeah. Lovely delivery by Austin Theory. Good promo, passionate, focused, lovely delivery. May win over some people. What he actually said, load of rubbish. Load of rubbish. Is Dolph. Said, I should know. I was there for the best one. I'm sick of people talking down to me, says Theory. So Theory said, I am the now. I'm not the future. Dolph says, sure thing, kid. Dolph walks away. So it looks like this is going to set up Theory versus Dolph Ziggler. Another veteran that is stuck putting people over instead of getting a well-deserved push, says Kim. Is it rubbish? The bloodline is always there, says Kyle. Yes, it is rubbish, and I'll tell you why. Because he's still got 6 months to try and cash that in. And even though he's tried a couple of times, and the bloodline have been there, or other things have been there, there's no guarantee that they're going to be there every single time. And he's still got 6 months. It's not as if the time had run out. He's still got WrestleMania. He could have cashed in. And if you're gonna take your shot, right? Take your shot on the world title. That's what the Money in the Bank briefcase is for. It can fast track you to a world championship. Plus, also, we don't know if Roman's gonna have that belt in by the time we get to WrestleMania. Roman could lose the title to someone. Austin Theory has no idea what's going to happen within the next 6 months. He's got no idea at all. And there's every chance that at WrestleMania, Roman's going to be in a vulnerable position again. And again, we just don't know if the bloodline are going to be there to save him. Just because over the past few months, people have saved him. No, there's no way he knows what's happening in the next 6 months. I could accept it if literally his time was running out, say, this weekend. Say he's had 12 months. And this weekend, is it? Oh, hello. We've got the official rules of War Games. 2 teams will be contained in cages. 1 member will, after 5 minutes, member of match after a 3-minute period of 10 minutes. Oh my God, it's the same rules as NXT and it sucks. I hate these rules. Have to sit and watch a load of nonsense. And then when everyone's in the ring, that's when the match actually starts. I'm not just moaning for the sake of moaning. I've been very vocal about this. I hate War Games. I hated it down in NXT. It was my least favorite NXT show. I hate these rules. These rules suck. You have to sit and watch a load of people come down to the ring, and it's only when everyone is in the ring after like 20, 30 minutes of waiting, that's when the match actually starts. This was a great opportunity to change it. It was a great opportunity to make it an elimination match. Maybe even just start it with everyone in the ring at the same time. Just have like a 20-minute, just go crazy match, you know? Instead, it's going to be exactly as it was in NXT, which I really hoped they were going to change. Really hoped they were going to change it. Oh, well. It is what it is. So, we've had the War Games rules. It's not Dolph coming out next. Next, it's going to be Dana Brooke versus Io Sky. Dana Brooke versus Io Sky. What I will say about War Games is that plenty of people love it. So, I mean, I am very aware I'm in the minority. I don't like the sitting and waiting for the match to start. I think that it lacks drama. Like, it'd be so much better if you could pin people and they get eliminated. Then, you know, it could be a case that by the time everyone's in the ring, it could be that you're locked in there 4 against 2. And it could be a real disadvantage that you're facing. I think and what with it being at Survivor Series, I thought there was more chance they would go that way. Because obviously Survivor Series rules are that you can get eliminated and then you're out the match. So I thought they would bring that in and put it into War Games. But that's disappointing. It's disappointing. Jilly said, halftime scores. Yeah, do it. Halftime scores. Here we go. Time for the song. Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. I really want to know your halftime scores. Put it in the chat. Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you sad? Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this. Right, Jilly with a 7. The Game with a 6. 1987 Big Fan 5.5. British Soundboard Pranks with a 4. Meave with an 8. Rory with a 7. Stone 9540 4.5. Prob with a 3. 1 Minute Wrestler 8. Alexa Bliss Gamer 7. Chicks with a 5. We've got a 6.5. Oh, I couldn't keep up with it. Young Fatty, shout out to you, my friend, says happy 2-month anniversary. Young Fatty, shout out to you, buds. Ledger Killer 6.5. Daniel 6.25. Mosey the Wrestling God with a 7. Evil Angel with a 6. Greg with an 8. Mark B Television with a solid 6.5. Harith with a 6. John with a 5. Trini with a 6.75. Alexa Bliss Gamer said, I can't wait to see what Alexa Bliss is going to do tonight. Half of 7, says Siler. William says 10 out of 10. Dagmawi says 7. That's a nice name. I probably said it wrong, but it's a nice name. Crystal with a 6. Reiku 86. It's really small. Can I make this bigger? I can't actually read it. It's so small. Yes, it doesn't really make it big. It just adds more comments. Pedro said, best thing about halftime scores is Days singing. Thank you for making me believe in my future as a singer. It's a gift, isn't it, really, to the community? Because if I'm willing to sound that bad and put it out there onto the internet, then surely you can do anything. You can do anything. That's my gift to you. James with a 7. Brutalities. 6. John 4.11. This has been underwhelming out of 10. Scorpio said great song 6. Montez 4. Bobby Lashley, Lacey have all served the country before becoming superstars. Join our superstars in celebrating our servicemen. Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross is out there with damage control. So Nikki Cross is out there. Here's Dana Brooke making her way down. So Dana Brooke against Io Sky. Dana versus Io. Former Mr. Olympia. Mr. Olympia? Former Mr. Olympia. I've shown up and I've shown out, says Dana. And I've worked extremely hard for everything I've had. Why did that say? I don't know why that said that. Former Mr. Olympia, best female of the year. Perhaps that's the name of the competition. It's the Mr. Olympia competition, and she won the best female category. Just looked a bit weird. If you could book Rock Roman, how would you do it? I would have Roman, like, just reiterate he's the head of the table, tribal chief. He's the greatest of all time in the family. Maybe have, like, one of the Usos or Solo or someone, like, mention The Rock's name. Have Roman, like, talk about how he's so much better than The Rock, so much better than Rikishi. Maybe just upset the Usos a little bit, but they're too scared to speak out. Maybe someone does speak out. Maybe you have Roman, like, attack one of the Usos. Do you know what I mean? But again, they fall in line. Like, they're intimidated. People are scared of Roman. Roman, will bully you into saying that he is the greatest in the family. And you just build that up and get to the point where The Rock steps in and The Rock comes in. Talks to Roman about how he doesn't appreciate how he's treating family members. How it doesn't matter who the best in the family is as long as the family are succeeding. And have Roman just completely disagree, say it's all about him. The truth is, it's not about the family. He's ahead of the family. He's the head of the family. It's not about the family. It's about Roman. And The Rock could respond by saying it's always about family. Somewhat along those lines. I really like playing the family angle. I really like playing the family cards. Certainly don't bring The Rock back to go after the belt or anything like that, Have it built around the family. Continue to build. WrestleMania. Big match. I would have Roman win. I don't really know what the Usos do. I don't know if the Usos get involved. I feel like it should be clean. I think it'd be a real shame if you did have some, like, outside interference. You could have, like, Roman look into the Usos to help him, and maybe the Usos don't. Because maybe this is the Usos believing that someone has got their backs. Someone could actually stand up to Roman and has got their backs in the family, that person being The Rock. So maybe Roman looks to them to help, but they don't. That could be interesting. Ultimately, Roman still gets the win. I don't think The Rock should come back and win. But, and then the fallout would be interesting. And maybe that's when we start to see the split in the bloodline, Because the bloodline can't go on forever. They've had a good run. And Roman's title reign can't go on forever. I remember when he first got the belt, I said it would be amazing if we could get to SummerSlam 2022. That's what I was hoping for. I wanted to get to about SummerSlam. And I said, if we do that, then it would have been a fantastic title reign. It would have been really significant. And I was looking for that as a benchmark. And we're well past that now. Well past that. Now I want him to get to 1,000 days. Now I really want him to get to 1,000 days. I don't know if he'll do it. I hope he does. I think he will. I could see him losing the WWE title, but as long as he keeps the Universal, then he'll still get his 1,000 days. Moonsault by Io. 1, 2, 3. Io wins. Io wins. Io beats Dana Brooke. It's a bit of a squash. Nikki Cross in it's a bit weird seeing Nikki with damage control. I think I would prefer it if she wasn't out there with them. Boom. Triple H book, Nikki. Jane can come back to WWE. Can you do that, Triple H? Bring the bear, Nikki Jane, says Crossbros. Triple A. Who's Nikki Jane? Here's Mia. Mia's going to give them an answer. Do you mean Mickey James? You're right. Oh, she's joining the other team. Right, but there we go. Looks like she's going to join the other team then. Mia joins Bianca. Team Bianca. And then Candice. Right, Alexa's come out. Might be worth just keeping an eye seeing if there is going to be a Bray graphic anyway. I never needed you at all. Watch me shine now. Watch me shine now. I never needed you at all. Ba-ba-bum, bum. Ba-ba-bum, bum. Ba-na. I never needed you at all. Akira Tozawa is winning. Yeah, I didn't see any brace logos there. Right, Akira is cleaning up backstage. Yeehaw! So Baron Corbin said he's got 3 aces. Akira Tozawa looks at the cards. They are not 3 aces. Cheetah! We're not done until I say we're done, says Corbin. Okay. Wrestling news, shout out to you. Akira cleaning house. Akira grabbed a bit of money. Okay, so Akira winning at poker. Now we've got A-Town down. Youngest United States champion. He is only 24 years old. Lost his money in the bank contract last week. So that's it. Yeah, it has. It's just gone. There's no argument. It's just gone. It happened. They're saying a different look and attitudes. I mean, he's not coming down with the camera phone thing, in all fairness. He's not taking selfies. He does seem to be a little bit more serious. So, Austin Theory against Dolph Ziggler coming up. Get Big Damo in Wargames. He's got experience, and Big Boy's slapping meat in Wargames would be proper. Get Otis in there while you're at it, says Will. Crossbros said good luck. Courtney said Rhea Ripley will join Bayley's team. Yeah. That makes sense, doesn't it? That does make sense. Rhea Ripley, and then I think Candice will be the other person. So, yeah, that does make sense. Bray Wyatt rules, said Gina. Theory is a monster. He's neglecting his cell phone, said Smurfy Tunes. WWE fan said, I'm going to fly to America and borrow the rest of Tozawa's winnings. Jim said, I saw Tozawa winning coming a mile away. Darcy said, how on earth did they ever get JBL to take that entire segment seriously? Good for him. Jilly said, I don't see Theory winning this. Dolph is a great wrestler that doesn't get enough credit. Philip said, with Triple H bringing back stars, I can think it could be a great Rumble coming up. That's a really good point, actually. I'm really hoping that we see legends and start to see legends that we wouldn't normally see. So I'm really hoping that we go that way. I think Seth Rollins involved in War Games since Survivor Series 2022 is 10 years of the Shield. Boomer said Theory has officially blocked his phone. Kojiko said, if a polar bear and a grizzly mate, their offspring is a pizzy bear. Has that ever happened, though? When would they ever meet? Like, grizzly bears don't go where polar bears live, do they? It's too cold. They're built different, aren't they? Since Jimmy, Jay, and Solo are Fatus and Roman is an Anoa'i, bring Jacob Fatu to attack Roman, bring the bloodline into one side of the family. Jacob Fatu's got a criminal past, got a criminal records, and apparently that's been a barrier to him being brought in because he's been available. I mean, they could have got him at any time, really. I mean, they've got such a great relationship with the Anoa'i family. Someone like Jacob Fatu would seem to be a no-brainer, but from what I've heard, that's always been the barrier. That's always been the reason as to why they've not brought him in. So, I don't know, maybe it'd be different under Triple H, but it would seem to be a no-go under Vince. Courtney said Candice is going to be the final member for Bianca's team. SD Film said, I'm already liking this different theory. I know Triple H had a reason for the cash-in. Yeah, I do agree with that. I don't think that he is burying theory. He must see the same things that we can see and a lot of people can see, like how good he is with his promos, the fact that he is very smooth in the ring. You know, he's still very young. I mean, I know 24 people will be like, oh, well, MJF is this old. Roxanne's only 20, blah, 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 blah. It's irrelevant. You know, if you're in your early 20s, you're still really young. You've still got like 20-odd years ahead of you. His whole career is ahead of him. The fact that he's at the level he's at this age is fantastic. Equally, it's fantastic that Roxanne is doing what she's doing at her age and MJF is doing what he's doing at his age. Like, these are the next superstars of tomorrow that we're seeing now. You know, if you want to talk about where we're going to be at WrestleMania 50, WrestleMania 55, you know, I've got to be looking at the names of Carmelo and Austin Theory, and potentially MJF could come over at some point. Roxanne Perez, you know, these are the names that I'd be expecting to be on that show. And of course, a load of names that we still don't know. Gable Steveson, maybe. But, you know, other people will come through, of course. But you can see some really young, promising up-and-comers that are coming through the various systems. Here's Dolph Ziggler. He has held 15 total championships in WWE. With Theory not having the money in the bank, Triple H has a clean slate for the Rumble and WrestleMania to book them from top to bottom. Dolph getting into the ring. So, Theory versus Ziggler. Where does he go from here? Kevin Patrick says, if you are just joining us, we're 1 hour, 50 minutes into Raw. We've got an hour and 10 minutes left to go. Main event tonight, I believe, is going to be Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the United States Championship. Theory is in between the ropes. Referee coming in, telling them to separate. There are a rumored 40-man, 40-women Royal Rumble matches that are being discussed, said Easy99. What is NEW Dynamite? AEW Dynamite? I have no idea. I don't look until the actual day of the show. But it's probably on their social media account. Big strike by Theory. Down goes Dolph. In honor of the World Cup, bring back when worlds collide and do country versus country tournament, said Inside Out and again. Scotty, shout out to you. What do you think Bray's logo not appearing means? I'm not too worried about it, to be honest, because I don't know that we've seen all of Alexa yet. I think it'll be interesting if we see her again and it doesn't appear. But I think that segment was more about Mia Yim joining Team Bianca, and you couldn't really see much of the screen behind. They could have obviously done a different camera angle and got the screen behind and then had Bray's logo appear. But I think they probably wanted Mia Yim joining Bianca to be the focus of that segment. But there's every chance we see Alexa backstage. I don't know if she's going to have a match. There's every chance that we see her and then we still get like a logo moment. So definitely keep the eyes peeled. I wouldn't say we're done with that yet. Still got an hour and 10 minutes-ish. Austin Theory in control, going for the cover. Kick out by Dolph. Theory, headlock on Dolph. Days, because Rikishi has been trying to get Jacob Fatu signed for years, considering Jimmy and Jay have criminal records, I'm inclined to think there's more to the story behind them not wanting him, says Trini. Maybe. I've only ever heard the criminal stuff. I've never heard of anything else. The other thing as well is, did Jimmy and Jay have criminal records before they came to WWE? Might be a bit different if they got them whilst being in WWE. Plus also, I don't actually know what Jacob Fatu... I'll have a look now, actually. What he actually got it for may be different to driving under the influence. He was arrested for robbery. He credits seeing his cousins, the Usos, on a jail TV. So he's been to jail. So, I mean, I don't know that Jimmy has been to jail. I don't actually... he was arrested for robbery at 18 and credits watching his cousins on a jail TV for his inspiration to become a wrestler. I think, am I right in saying jail is different to prison? So, did he actually serve prison time? Have a look. It was only 2018 as well, this happened. He was in jail in 2018. I really didn't grow up wanting to wrestle. I didn't want to wrestle until I caught my case for the 211. 211, guys. Robbery. When I was 18, I was locked down, went to jail for some crazy reason. Every dorm has a TV. Just so happened to flick through the channels, who comes on. But my brothers, the Usos, Jimmy J coming on, I will never forget it. They were out there with Tamina, and they were wrestling against Tyson Kidd. Another former MLW superstar, Davey Boy Smith, and Natalia. When I was 18 and I was locked down in county jail, seeing my brothers, that's what made my mind up. Okay. What does that mean? How did he serve time? I'm still a bit in the dark about that. Jacob Fatu. Prison. Let's Google that. Is it the Black Sheep? It's the same story that's just been repeated about how he was in jail and he watched the Usos. Twain made his first trip to Mexico. Well, I mean, in 2019, he signed for MLW. So if he did go to prison, it certainly wasn't for very long. Don't know. If anyone can, I don't want to spend too long on that. If anyone can find any info. Oh, no, because it's main event. Oh. If anyone's got any info or knows any info on that, let us know. I'd be interested to know. Tell me what's happening. We're at commercial break. That's what's happening. So you're not missing anything. We are at commercial break at the moment. We've got just over an hour to go. Do you think if Nick Aldis came to WWE, would he become a world champion or at least be used right? I think he would be a mid-card champion. Whether they would elevate him to world champion, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's got the skills. He's a great talker. He can put on great matches. I love how he wears sharp suits and he's very Cody. He's very much like Cody. Cody's a great talker. He has great matches. And when he's not wrestling, he comes out in sharp suits. And I think he just looks like a champion, even if he's not got a belt. A bit like Bobby, when Bobby comes down to the ring. He tends to wear like sharp suits when he's not wrestling. I really like that. I thought the Hurt Business looked great when they were all in suits. So that's very Nick Aldis. He looks like a champion. Whether they would actually do it, because they've got so many options. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they're just drowning in people they could make world champion. So many options. So I don't know that they would do it. I don't know if they would get chance to do it. I mean, this is the land of Roman, Seth, AJ, Finn, Brock. Like, there's just so many people. So I couldn't say, yeah, they'd make him world champion. But I feel like he would come in and he'd be used well. And I think he'd be around the mid-card most of the time. He'd be a great intercontinental champion, Nick Aldis. Great intercontinental champion. And then it would just be a case of, I think, how he looks, how the crowd take to him as to whether they would give him that push or not. Dolph in the corner. Big clubbing blow by Theory. Theory has got Dolph on his shoulders. Oh. 1, 2. That's not A-Town down. Yeah, it was a rack bomb. Yeah, Kevin Patrick said A-Town down, but that wasn't A-Town down. That'll be on Botchamania. A-Town down. Nope. Hi, Days. Do you think Robert Roode returns on Friday and joins Brawling Brutes? Why? Why would he be in that match? I'm going to say no. I can't really think of a reason as to why he would. Did they beat him up or something? Dolph with a sleeper. Dolph with a sleeper, and Theory is beginning to fade. So sleeper hold by Dolph. Theory going down onto one knee. Trying to get back up to his feet. Powering up to his feet. Drives Dolph back into the corner. Dolph continuing to put that sleeper hold on. Theory rolls through. Dolph is down. Dolph still putting the squeeze on at the moment. Referee checking on Theory. Theory is fading. He's trying to power back to his knees. Theory screams, powers up. That's a nice moment. Like him screaming, oh, big kick. Big kick by Dolph. Theory in trouble. Famouser connects. Famouser, 1, 2. Kick out by Theory. Good match. Fun little moment. That was a good moment. Theory screaming as the sleeper was applied. Theory survives. Let's go Ziggler chant. I was just trying to hear what they were saying, but it's let's go Ziggler. Let's go Ziggler. Theory over against the ropes. Back elbow there by Theory. Theory coming over. Dolph is down. Theory grabbing Dolph, hurling him into the corner. Dolph going shoulder first. Theory coming over. Awesome match. Yeah, it's good. Theory talking some trash to Dolph. Hurls him shoulder first into the ring post. Dolph going shoulder first. Theory is definitely being repackaged here. Presented with more aggression. Hurling Dolph into the corner. The camera then goes onto Theory's face where he's fuming. Theory in the center of the ring is going to look to hurl Dolph into the other ring post, but Dolph reverses. Theory goes into the ring post. Zigzag. 1, 2. Shoulder up again. Shoulder up again. People are into this. They just showed people in the crowd on their feet. Boom, look at that. Zigzag. Theory down. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Kick out. Love the bar. It's my kind of place. How's the show been so far? Low Retribution. This is awesome. Chants from the crowds. This is awesome. This is awesome. Dolph back in the corner, looking to charge over, looking for a super kick. Big forearm strike. He's looking for A-Town down. Here it is. He's got him on the shoulders. Boom. A-Town down connects. Ziggler is down. Theory is not covering. Theory is not covering. Theory is still fuming. Grabbing a hold of Ziggler again. He's going for a second. A-Town down. Boom. Second one in a row. It's an A-Town down symphony. Look at him. Look at the spittle. Look at the spittle. And he jumps to Dolph, starts wailing away, kicking at Dolph. Dolph has to roll out the ring. The referee has a word. Austin Theory snaps. Austin Theory grabbing a hold of Dolph, hurling him into the ring steps. Surely he's getting DQ'd. At what point is the ref going to DQ him? How many chances is the ref going to give Austin Theory? Theory snaps, grabs a hold of Dolph. Face first into the commentary table. It's great. Great presentation of Theory, this is. Face first again. Dolph just being repeatedly smashed into the table. Over into the timekeeper's area goes Dolph. Is it a count out? Oh, he chucks the chair on top of Dolph. Theory is just picking up chairs, hurling chairs. Look at that. This is sick, man. This is sick. This is easily, by a mile, the best part of the show. Boos are raining down as Theory is throwing shots at Dolph. Chairs have been thrown. The commentary chairs have been thrown at Dolph. Dolph has been smashed into the commentary table. To A-Town downs. He's trying to go back to him. He does go back. Chair shots, strikes, officials. I can only imagine that as he's looking at Dolph, he's mentally seeing Triple H. I ain't a damn kid, says Austin Theory. I ain't a damn kid. Theory walking away. Boos are raining down. I'm all day. Austin Theory. I ain't a damn kid. I'm all day. Explosive. I ain't a damn kid. I'm all day. They should call him Breakfast. Because he is all day. Vince is getting all excited with this ruthless aggression from his son, says Will. WWE fan said Triple H has just made an awesome booking choice, making him lose Money in the Bank like he did. Trini said it's Triple H who made it possible. Stupid Money in the Bank cash-in was the impetus for change. Did he get DQ'd? They didn't actually announce, so I don't know. Theory is great at getting heat. He's a mega star in the making. Thomas said this is setting up Dirty Dogs versus Theory and Gargano. Harris said, I bet Vince is falling out of his chair about now. Corbin will clearly make a mess of Tozawa, said William. Legend Killer, shout out to you. The power of Tozawa. This is awesome. It's brilliant. Brilliant section. Theory is making it look like someone stole his candy. Wrestling News said, I smell something great from Theory come in. Easy99 said, do you think WWE should do a tournament like the G1 with the winner getting a title shot at SummerSlam? Yes. But I think it should be King of the Ring. It doesn't have to be G1 where you've got like tables and leagues. I would do it more like a knockout tournament. Theory was really mad, said Dagmawi. Yes. Losing streak is over, technically. Dolph's losing streak is over. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't know if it was... I didn't hear them actually announce the result of the match. I don't know if it's a double count out or if it is a DQ. So I genuinely don't know what the result is. I heard an investigation with Vince is over. Do you think we see Vince back? No, don't think so. It's not the fact they made Theory lose the Money in the Bank. It's the way he did it. He definitely... H-Defo stole his candy, said Maggie. Theory had a hissy fit. That was awesome from Theory. Setting up for Theory versus Cena. Battle of the ruthless aggressions. Do you think Theory should win the Rumble? No. That'd be a waste. Because he just had Money in the Bank and we just threw it away. So why would we now have him win the Rumble? He could have, if you want him to be in the main event of WrestleMania, he just had the Money in the Bank. You could have easily had him cash in and be in the main event of WrestleMania. This is why the cash in was so stupid. Because he's cashed it in on a flipping mid-card belt. And his reasoning is that, I tried to cash in on Roman, but I wasn't successful. Yeah, but you still got 6 months, haven't you, mate? You've still got 6 months. And things can change. Who knows? Usos might get injured. Roman might get injured and might have to forfeit the belts. Completely different landscape if that happens. So, yeah. No, he shouldn't win the Rumble. Because if the plan is to put him in the main event of WrestleMania, then he had the briefcase. That was the way. That was a way that you could have done it. It's going to be Cody. I'd imagine Cody wins the Rumble, to be honest. I think they've probably already got that planned. I feel like Cody coming back and winning the Rumble is probably what most people are expecting. It's what I'm leaning to. Theory cashed in on mid-card bout when he could have cashed in on Roman. Theory had 6 more months to hold the briefcase. Peter said, I think Jay will turn on Roman. And Okada from New Japan wants a match with The Rock. I never heard that, but that's interesting. WWE would love to do that at WrestleMania or something. Right, Nikki is in the background. Here's Rhea. If Rhea is on Bianca's side, then I am on yours. What is Nikki doing? She's climbed up on something in the background. I don't know what it is. What is Nikki doing? There's some kind of... I don't even know what it is, to be honest. It's like some kind of shelving unit, maybe? She's trying to work something out in her head. Here's Rhea Ripley. JBL is coming out. So Rhea joins the Damage Control team. Here is the wrestling god, Baron Corbin. Corbin versus Tozawa coming up next. How long have we got? 48 minutes. What I will say about the show is it's moved, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I mean, there's even though there might not have been tons of heart-stopping moments, the theory segment is easily the best part of tonight's show. And 2 hours and nearly 15 minutes have gone by. So, yeah, we've definitely had a lot go down. A town down. Definitely going to be Beth now, said Scott. Dominic said, how would you feel if Sammy wins the Rumble and starts a story of tearing the bloodline down? Sammy shouldn't turn on the bloodline. The bloodline need to turn on Sammy. People love Sammy. And seeing Sammy abused and humiliated and taken advantage of, that is how you continue to build sympathy on Sammy. If Sammy starts taking the bloodline down from the insides, like, I don't know, people will be into it. But I think there's real power in people feeling sorry for Sammy. And I would book it that way. So I don't mind Sammy winning the Rumble. But if I was booking, I would have Sammy go up to Roman after and say, my tribal chief, I've done it. You can have WrestleMania off. I've just won the Rumble, so no one is going to face you at WrestleMania. And do it as like a, you know, I've got you back. Like, I've done this for you. Look at what I've done for you. I've won the Rumble, and I'm not gonna ask for my title shot. But then they take that for granted, and they, you know, something happens, and they end up beating him up and all of this. And then literally a few weeks before, he stands up to them and says to Roman, I'll see you at WrestleMania. Like, if you're going to have Sammy win the Rumble, I'd look at a story like that. I think Sammy trying to do what he thinks is the right thing and for, like, you know, for his friends, for the bloodline, but they still abuse him. I think that's a really powerful weapon. It's a great way of building sympathy on Sammy. Dropkick by Tozawa. Tozawa going for the pin. It's been a solid 7, says William. That would be amazing. What was the match with Austin? A sight. Was that match for Austin a sight for sore eyes? I mean, it was great. It was a great match. It was. What's Tozawa doing? Head scissors takedown. It was exactly what Austin needed. It's how he should respond to what happened last week. It's really the best way he could respond. Brutal beatdown. No selfies. No kind of coming down, arrogance, loving himself. He shouldn't be that way this week. He wasn't. And he's angry. He's disappointed. And yeah, brilliant. Brilliant segment. Best part of the show. And I can't see anything beating it, to be honest. I think Seth and Finn's going to be really good, but I really like what we just got from Austin Theory. Tozawa gets thrown into the barricades. Big knee strikes. Kid freaking out. There's a woman freaking out as well in the front row. As Tozawa was getting beaten up by the wrestling god. Baron Corbin looking to get into the ring. Tozawa in the ring. Tozawa back on his feet, going against the ropes. Drop kick. They're trying to make Tozawa competitive here. I thought this was just going to be a squash. He is putting on a show. Tozawa back in the corner, charging over. Shining Wizard by Akira Tozawa. Tozawa going to the outside. JBL looking concerned. Akira Tozawa going up top. It's weird after God knows how long and how many 24/7 segments we've had. Seeing Akira Tozawa being competitive. Corey shouts over to JBL, what's happening to Corbin? Tozawa caught mid-flight. Corbin looking for end of days. Connects. 1, 2, 3. Corbin wins. Baron Corbin. I think Kevin Owens should have won instead of Shinsuke, says Dominic. Will said, I don't know if it's true, but I saw somewhere that Carrion is going to show up at MLW. Jojo said, is this match still going? Inside Out and again said Akira should cheat and use the green mist and then low blow. Tozawa put up a good fight, said WWE Fan 1000. Maggie said, I'm going to dethrone Roman. I just fancy rolling around the ring with him. I wouldn't care if he Superman punched me into oblivion. Kinky. Darcy said, I heard from a very reliable source that Theory will win the Rumble from number 1 and then use it to challenge for the United States title, but unfortunately lose. Seems like a good idea. Well, something to look forward to when we get closer to WrestleMania season. We are just seeing Extreme Rules, Finn and Edge. Erase Your Mind says, needs more Howdy. It is a shame we don't get anything Bray. Even if we haven't even had an advert for SmackDown, have we? They're just showing Edge being attacked. Beth. I quit, says Edge. Like a loser. I quit. Beth, I quit. And then Rhea messes her up. Yeah! Make her humble! I'd like Beth to come back thinking that her name's Dave. Doesn't know who she is anymore because that chair shot messed her up. Hello, I'm Dave. No, you're not. You're Beth. I'm Dave. No, you're Beth. You're my wife and I love you. I'm Dave. You're the mother of our children. I love you with all my heart. I'm Dave. That wasn't very oozy. More scrambled brains, please. Jacob Fatu was in Sacramento jail. No prison time that I have found, says Leo. Wonder what happened then. Wonder what happened. Are you just set free if you rob a house at the age of 18? How does what's that about? Oh, come on, we all make mistakes. Who hasn't broken into someone's place and tried to do a robbery? Marblin, shout out to you. Tony said Beth comes out as Days. I'm Days. Hi, guys. Bye for now. I mean, that would be a great boost to the channel. I'm not going to lie. That would be some serious traffic if she was to do that. Cameron Grimes should interrupt Corbin. They both have money gimmicks. It could be something for Corbin to do. Thoughts? Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't know that it... I mean, I suppose it could be a bit of a feud for a while. Cameron Grimes being a heel. Maybe have him as a tag team or something. I don't know. There was definitely APA vibes tonight, wasn't there? APA vibes. I don't know that Cameron fits in with that. Yeah, I don't mind if they was to do a match, maybe a little feud or something. I can see why they would do that. William said, I robbed my mum's cookie jar at the age of 4 and I got 20 years in the doghouse. Most British mums are a big deterrent not to do robberies, says Ian. That's true. That's true. MVP spent 9 years of an 18-and-a-half-year sentence for armed robbery, and WWE still signed him afterwards. That's true, actually. That is true. That's a very good point. So, yeah, that is a very good point. He was still signed. Don't know. It's the only thing I've ever heard as to why they've not signed him. I mean, he was an MLW champion. He's been great. Yeah, I've only ever heard it's because of his I didn't know what it was, but as we've just looked, it was robbery. But apparently didn't go to prison for it. I went from an Austin Theory fan to an Austin Theory stan after tonight. Listen, I would have expected you to have been a simp since day one. That's what I would have expected. So are you Austin Theory 316 now? Please respond. It would have been great if Carrion was showing up at MLW to have Drew come and attack him at some point, says Will. Undercover Manager said Booker T murdered someone and was still a WWE guy. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's any more to it. Does it matter why Fatu wasn't signed? They have enough of a Samoan dynasty on the roster. Lovely, beautiful beatdown. Jeffrey said, I love this bar. It's my kind of place. When I open up the front door, it puts a big smile on my face. Oh, that's nice. Retribution said, I'm anxious about being home alone for a few months. Any tips or advice? Enjoy it. It's amazing. I would say it's nothing to be anxious about. Watch what you want on TV. Eat what you want. Get takeaways. Walk around the house naked. Play video games. Just do what you want, mate. While the cats are away, the mice will play. I wouldn't be anxious about it. I'd be anticipating it. Right. How long have we got? We've got 37 minutes left. I feel like we need something more than just our main event, surely. Here we go. Backstage. Here's an Alexa segment. Keep the eyes peeled. Keep the eyes peeled. Keep the eyes peeled. How do you feel about Rhea being added? Don't look away, guys. Don't look away. Don't look away. Can see Asuka. Can see Alexa. We've just got some lockers in the background. Can't see any logos. Can see Mia. Can see Bianca. Can see Kathy. I'm not going to let our secrets out here. I think everyone here is just as hungry as I am to take that team down. Still can't see him. What? No, Matt. The camera keeps going in and coming back out again and going in and coming back out again. Like, when it comes back out, I keep expecting to see something. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. What if that's not Kathy, but it's actually Bray in disguise? Here's Otis and Chad. Here's Seth. There's a lot of mingling backstage, isn't there? Well, there we go. Lily was released over contract problems. Nails was an ex-con. He even wore his prison jumpsuit, said Gerald. That's true. And that worked out really well. AJ is... When did AJ issue that challenge? I didn't see that. That must have been earlier. AJ challenging Finn to a match at Survivor Series. So Balor accepts AJ's challenge. So match at Survivor Series. Yeah, we're going to our main event, you know. Well, at least I think it's our main event. It makes more sense for Bray to recruit one of Alexa's friends, allies, and use her to get revenge on Alexa. How could Bray ever trust Alexa as an ally after she betrayed him? That's a good point. There's one person that can meet Roman, and that person is the one and only Thea Hale. Yay! Just realized you changed your name, Austin Theory 316. Yay! And his name is... That was correct. That was the right thing to do. Well done. That was... I should use that more, actually. Someone makes a good point. Someone makes a bad point. It's time for the main event. Theory absolutely killed Dolph, and he's still under contract, says Will. Days, you look good, said Heel Santa. I look great. The Garbage theme song just came out with it. Normal song. He comes out with Judgment Day song, says Paul. When is John Cena coming back? Well, it is expected that he will have a match at WrestleMania, so guessing it's going to be closer. I mean, look, he's a busy boy, isn't he? I don't think he's going to be... coming back really too soon before that. He's got a lot on his plate, but I am expecting him to have a match at WrestleMania. Cena versus Stone Cold, said Justin. Stone Cold wants one more match. When do you think Indy will be called up? I have no idea. I mean, I don't even know if they know what they're doing with her. I mean, she's engaged in a little feud with Elektra Lopez in NXT at the moment, so doesn't feel like it's going to be at the moment. I mean, they could always call her up and she could obviously just finish that feud off, but I don't know. Doesn't really feel like we're close to a Indy Hartwell call-up. For whatever reason, it feels like they feel she needs a bit more time to mature. Did Seth get Otis and Gable to watch his back in case other Judgment Day members come out? Maybe. To be honest, I don't think he's going to need them because I think AOC are going to come out. I imagine AJ is going to come out and then they'll bring the Judgment Day out. And, you know, Seth will just end up being a bit irrelevant because I can see this show ending with Judgment Day and OC brawling and Seth just sort of walking away. Shakeem23 said, I love my name. James said, do you think Main Event Mafia or Aces and Eights could have worked in WWE? And masking members every week would have been something to look forward to. I never watched TNA. I mean, I'm aware of Aces and Eights, and they were like a biker gang, weren't they? With Bully Ray as like the leader or whatever. They had quite a buzz going for a little while. So I never saw them, but I mean, I saw them. I know what they look like, but I never saw them promos or matches. So it's hard for me to say if it would have worked. The only thing I can say is that they generated such a buzz that it did get onto my radar, even though I'm not someone that watched TNA or Impact. So I would lean towards aces and eights working. I actually don't have a clue who was in Main Event Mafia or whatever they were called. So I don't know who was in that. So I can't comment on that one. But I think aces and eights potentially could have worked. That Beach Kevin said, do you think they split up Nikita Lyons and Zoe Starks because they're planning on bringing one of them up soon? Don't think so. I think that they're both singles wrestlers. They've just had a little run as the tag team, but I don't think their futures are as a tag team. Zoe is, singles wrestler. Nikita, I mean, they're good together. You could have kept them together. But I think that they probably see them more as single stars. Plus, I think they might have had the idea to turn Zoe heel for a little while as well. Maybe try her as a heel. So, yeah, it's just the way the story has gone, to be honest. I think they see them as solo stars, and this was just a way of getting it back to that. I certainly don't think they're... I don't think Nikita Lyons is all that great. So I don't think she's that close to being called up. I think they like her, but I don't think she's close to being called up. Zoe Starks has been there a little longer. She's better in ring. The only thing with Nikita Lyons is, we have to be honest, it's not about how good you are at wrestling. It's about how you look. And she has definitely got attention. So, WWE might be interested in bringing her up for the attention, but that's the dark side of wrestling. That's the side of wrestling that I don't vibe with. So, yeah, for me, Nikita Lyons, I just don't get very excited about. But I actually, to give her credit, have actually really enjoyed her in the tag team with Zoe Starks. I think she's been great in that tag team. And actually, I think she might be a better tag team wrestler than a singles wrestler. As I said, I don't rate her. So her coming in and having little short bursts, doing little short segments during a match, and spending half the match on the outside of the ring, right now, that's a better way to use her, rather than her going out trying to have a proper full match. So, yeah. If I was booking, I'd try and get her in another tag team. Balor is in the ring. Right, let's change this over. It is not Dana Brooke versus Io Sky. It is Seth Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins. This is Finn Balor. This is going to get 20 plus minutes. Horny lizards can shoot blood from their eyes. Oh, I can do the same, actually. But only when I'm horny. Philip makes a good point, says Elizabeth. Philip said, if they do Roman Rocket Mania, does that mean Roman will wrestle twice? Because he'll also take on the winner of the Rumble. Well, it is a good point. For me personally, I think Roman should lose one of the titles before WrestleMania. I don't think he should go into that match against Rock with both belts. That match doesn't need it. That match is not made any bigger by having two belts be involved. Doesn't matter if there's two belts, one belt, no belt. It makes no difference. That match is that match. So I think that it would be better if he dropped one of the belts before we got to WrestleMania. That would then mean that the Royal Rumble winner could challenge the other champion. If Roman does have both belts, then I don't think we see Roman do double duty. I just don't think he'd be up for it, to be honest. He's all about that reduced schedule lifestyle, isn't he? I don't think that he would do two main events. So what would they do if he had both belts? They could have The Rock win the Rumble. and face Roman, or they could have the winner of the Rumble. I hate the idea of the winner of the Rumble choosing to go after the NXT champion. We saw Charlotte get bullied into that at WrestleMania 36. She won the Rumble, and then Rhea challenged her and made her life, like, a nightmare, and kind of bullied her into the match. And so we ended up getting Charlotte versus Rhea. So sadly, we have seen it before. We could see it again, but I think it's better that Roman just loses one of the belts before WrestleMania. Right, we are underway. This match should be fire. This should be fire. Let's go, Rollins. Rolly Rollins. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Do you think AJ versus Stone Cold would be good for Mania, or should Stone Cold turn heel? Do I think AJ versus Stone Cold would be good for Mania? Yes. How would it not? It would be very good. Stone Cold's got so many opponents that he could face. AJ is a face, but it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, AJ is just one of the best in-ring competitors. Stone Cold versus Seth would be fantastic as well. Stone Cold against Cody would be fantastic. Like, Stone Cold versus Finn Balor would be fantastic. There's like loads of people that you could have Stone Cold going up against. I think Stone Cold would probably get to choose who he faces, and actually AJ, gotta think, would be a name near the top of that list. So it's probably quite realistic that we get AJ versus Stone Cold if Stone Cold does have another match. And I've got to think, if Stone Cold's having another match, that's another main event for Stone Cold. Imagine that, AJ versus Stone Cold, night 1, Rock versus Roman, night 2. Damn, that would be so sick. That would be so sick. That would be one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. To the outside, Seth comes crashing down with a crossbody. Down goes Seth. Crowds are singing away. What do you think about Tyrus becoming NWA World Champion? Well, not a big fan, to be honest. He is someone that had a sexual harassment allegation against him. Now, I believe it was settled and it didn't go to court. And so I am someone that's very much innocent till guilty kind of a thing. I don't know enough about, what the evidence is and all of that. But it was settled. But it does leave a bit of a bad taste in the mouth, of course. I don't know if there was any other allegations. I only seen that one. It was something to do with he was doing a co-host thing with like a female co-host, and she said that he was sending like texts and like lewd texts and all this kind of stuff. Horrible, seedy, but I don't. He's not been ever found guilty of anything, and so it was settled. He's gone to NWA. They've used him. It's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a difficult one. I'm not a fan of it. I think like there's other options. Is your best option Tyrus? Is that your best option? Of all the options available to you to have as a world champion, is Tyrus your best option? Like, did it even need to be a conversation? Did you even need to put yourself in that situation? Like, you brought Tyrus in, that's going to divide opinion. Did you need to put the title on him? Is he the best you've got? Do the ratings show that he is bringing eyes to the product? Is he the best in-ring that you've got? Is he who you want to build your brand around? Is that the face of your company? I mean, I would have to think not. I mean, I've got to think if I was booking, I wouldn't. I could find better. I just think I would find better. Regardless of the allegations, I think I could find better. So I find it very strange I find a lot of what NWA are doing at the moment strange. I find the whole falling out with Nick Aldis quite strange. He did so much for them. So much. I mean, I believe he turned down other companies so he could stay with the NWA. I think, like, he had, like, not a cut in his pay, but payments were not always what they should have been. So, again, trying to help the NWA. I feel like he did a lot for the NWA, and the way that it's all ended is really horrible. Leaves a very bitter taste in the mouth. So, but it's one of those, isn't it? I mean, like, people are going to feel very differently about Tyrus. And maybe there's more to it than what I know as well. But my feelings are like, I'm not going to lay into him. I don't know the truth. I wasn't there. I haven't seen the texts. The allegations are there. It's been settled. And so, look, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't know the truth. I don't know what really happened. We haven't gone to court and found out and tried to establish the truth. It never went there. So he's in NWA, but I just think you could find better, couldn't you? I still don't get the whole NWA Aldis situation, says Austin Theory 316. Thomas said, NWA feel determined not to have main attraction wrestlers. Stone Cold versus LA Knights. Nikki Alliance is popular on social media. WWE could use her popularity to make her a star, said Easy99. Let Him In said, what's your favorite candy? I don't really have a favorite candy per se. I mean, I don't mind Haribo. There's not really much taste to them, but I don't mind Haribo. We do have some like licorice things in the house, which are quite nice. I don't mind a bit of licorice every now and again. But yeah, I'm not really, I don't know, we don't really have sweets and things like that around. Chocolate-wise, again, I try to avoid it, to be honest. Last thing I need is to be sitting here streaming, eating loads of chocolate. So, yeah, I don't really have too much. I try to be good. Try to just drink water and have good meals and then try to not snack in between. It's the only way I can, like, ensure that I'm still able to get up out of this sofa. Otherwise, I might be wedged in, stuck, and not able to get up. Don't say your favorite candy. Austin will use that to trap you. That's true. Good point. Come here, Days. Yes. Good point. I heard you like these. In my mind, that's how Austin talks. Never heard him talk. Very much that witch. That is the old grandmother in like Hansel and Gretel that uses candy to get to them. Is that right? I think that grandmother is Austin. January 31st, NWA Power will be live for the first time ever. Oh. I mean, I still don't want to watch it, but I've got a soft spot for the NWA. Even still, I've got a soft spot for them. Because Power was so good. I had so much fun streaming that. Strike to the back here by Balor. Crowds are a little quiet at the moment. This is for the United States Championship. Will Survivor Series have multiple team matches like the old days? Well, at the moment, it seems not. Because it seems like we're going to get Finn versus AJ. And there was, we found out that Ronda's going to take on the winner. Well, it was Shotzi, wasn't it? I was going to say the winner of that six-pack challenge, but that was Shotzi. So it looks like we're getting a load of singles matches. And then we're getting the War Games matches. We may get a traditional Survivor Series match. I mean, we should have at least one. So, you know, we may still get one, but I don't think it's going to multi-person tag matches. The two children end up murdering... Oh, hang on. We've got lag. Lag is fixed. Lag is fixed. That's good. The two children end up murdering the old lady, pushing her inside an oven and trapping her inside and burning her alive. What a great story to tell children. Dominic said, is there any possibility of Will Ospreay in WWE in the future? Don't think so, because he's been quite vocal about how he doesn't want to go to WWE. So that may change because he's still really young. And listen, money talks. But I think if he was to come to America, I think he'd go AEW. But I think he may be tempted to do a WrestleMania. Be hard to hang up the boots without doing a WrestleMania, I would think. With WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood, do you think WWE will bring in a lot of celebrities? Yes, 100%. I mean, even if it's not in Hollywood, they would bring in a load of celebrities. But the fact it's in Hollywood, yes. Clothesline by Seth. 1, 2. Shoulder up by Balor. Shoulder up. What's your favorite meal? I don't know, I'm really boring. I'm really boring. I don't really have one. I mean, a really nice pizza. Who doesn't love that? A really lovely hamburger. Who doesn't love that? I'm actually not that massively into curries. I'll eat them, and if we go out for one, like, great. But I wouldn't put them amongst my favorites. I do like a nice kebab, though. Genos, do you call them Genos? Something like that. I think you guys call them in America. Balor looking for the roll-up. Couldn't get it. Seth came off the top. Balor rolled him up, but we go to commercial break. This is our last commercial. Our final commercial break. We are still underway. Finn versus Seth. For me, no shadow of a doubt, the best part of tonight's show, easily, by a country mile, is still the Austin Theory segment. Thank you. Let him in for letting me know. Letting me to know days more. Gyros are pronounced gyros. Oh, I didn't know that. We don't call them that over here. We call them kebabs. So we don't have gyros. 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 Rows of guys. Days of Stone Cold comes back again. Who do you think he should wrestle? Wrestle with Andy. Who do you think he should wrestle? You always ask me questions. I'm going to ask you one now. Who do you think he should wrestle? Hey, come on. Who do you think? Who do you want it to be? Give me a name. Give me a reason. Oh. Is there anything more embarrassing than wooing, but not actually wooing because the sound effect didn't work? I don't know. Answers on a postcard. Eric said, Food Theory says pizza is classified as a sandwich. How? I mean, it is a bread-like base. So you could make an argument it's an open sandwich. Don't know. Doesn't do it for me. Let him in said, what's your favorite color? I like warm colors. So it would probably be something. It wouldn't be like I'd have to find the right shade, but it'd be something that's like yellow to orange. Somewhere in between those colors. So not orange, not yellow, but somewhere in between. Maybe there's I don't know. Maybe there's something that's warm. Feel good when you see it. I do like bright yellow, in all fairness. Is it my favorite color? It's in the running. Yeah, it's in the running. Pizza is a pie, says William. Even Daisy's background is a warm night. Yes, very warm. Very warm. And also a little bit concerning. Red sky at night. Shepherd's delight. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury has been confirmed. Oh. Jake Paul, Logan are coming for the Usos when Logan recovers, says Keanu Owen. That's good. That's the fight to make. Days, Jaffa cakes. Do you think they're cakes or biscuits? I think they're cakes. I know they're classed as biscuits, but they're called Jaffa cakes. Now, I understand that if you called a pizza a burger, it's not a burger. But I think a Jaffa cake is so close to be between either. If the people that make them call them cakes, I'm quite happy to go with that. Do you know what I mean? I'm fair play. Is it a cake? Is it a biscuit? I always feel like a biscuit needs to be crunchy. You know, that maybe is the wrong parameter, but I feel like it needs to be crunchy. A biscuit needs to have like a crumble to it. There's no crumble. There's no crunch to a Jaffa cake. So for me, it's a cake, but I fully accept that in the scientific world, I believe it is classed as a biscuit. What's your opinion on the great Khali? Brilliant in India. Indian people love him. In ring, awful. Not a very good professional wrestler. But he's got the size. He's very impressive. There's something to be said for that. And the Indian people love him. So brilliant for the Indian market. So he's got a purpose. I wouldn't not use him or not have him. I just think that in ring he was very slow, limited, plodding. He's not someone that you necessarily would enjoy watching, but hey, listen, there's something to be said for how big he is, and something to be said for him being Indian and being so over in India. I mean, there's a lot to be said for that. If you booked him, you could book him in a main event up against babyface. If you had a babyface champion and the Great Khali as like a heel, I suppose in a way, kind of what they did with Undertaker. They did Great Khali and Undertaker, didn't they? That's still one of my favorite moments. Great Khali in the ring. And I remember, I think it was Michael Cole was saying, who can stop the Great Khali? Because he was destroying everyone. And then at number 30, out came The Undertaker. It's a great moment. Simple moment, but it's a great moment. So there are ways to use the Great Khali. Balor is going up top. Seth knocks him. Balor goes onto the top turnbuckle. Pizza dough makes the difference between it being a pie and a sandwich, says Trini the Usi one. Yeah, it isn't used in pie, but used in pizza dough. That's why some consider it in the sandwich category. Oh. Balor. Oh, 1916. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up by Seth. Finn Balor planting Seth. It's a good match. It's a good match. I used to pretend the old orange Jaffa Cake plastic trays were announce tables. Oh, okay. Trying to picture them. I'm trying to remember what they look like, if they would work as an announce table, but that's really fun. That's really fun. Hey, with the cost of living and everything, you gotta use whatever you can use as well. So I really like that. I really like that. There's probably a lot of kids out there that would like that kind of a blue pizza, make it at home kind of a thing. That's really good. Double underhooks. Seth goes down. Stomped there by Balor. Kick to the midsection. Seth picks up Balor. Balor lands on his feet. Balor. Oh! Falcon Arrow. Ah! 2 count. Falcon Arrow there by Seth. If you get the train to Glasgow Central, what line would you get? West Coast or East Coast? If I was to get the train, I would have to imagine it'd be West Coast because I'm over by Wales. So a lot of our train services are like West Midlands. So I'd have to think it'd be West Coast. Roll up. 1, 2. Kick out. But I've never been to Glasgow, so I have no idea. Balor. So Judgment Day have come down. Balor. Stomp. So Judgment Day are distracting. They're trying to help Finn. Surely OC are coming down. Surely. They're asking Dominic. Here's Gallows Anderson. Here's Mia Yim. Here's my chin. Strikes to the midsection. Rhea Ripley, Mia Yim brawling on the outside. That's pretty fun. Dominic gets into the ring. Anderson gets in. This going the way that we thought it would. OC and Judgment Day brawling. Seth Rollins, an afterthought. Mia Yim and Rhea fighting in the timekeeper's area. Wow. Damian Priest charges over to Anderson. Anderson jumps in the air. Damian Priest knocks him into the commentary table. Balor charges over at Seth. Drop kick. Seth goes down. Balor looking for the coup de grace. It is chaos. Finn Balor going up top. Dominic getting in the ring. What's Dominic doing? AJ. Hollywood guy said it's kind of weird that suddenly Rhea is with damage control for War Games. Do you like the new theory? I like the new theory. Yeah, I really like the new Austin theory. Smashing Seth into the commentary table. So Theory attack him. Oh, look at the aggression from Theory. Yeah, this is good by Theory. Really, really good. Austin Theory in the Battle of the Austins. And Stone Cold puts him over, says Wrestle with Andy. Stone Cold versus Theory with Vince coming back as an on-screen character in Theory's corner. Like it. A-Town down for a second time. A-Town down. Boos for Austin Theory. This episode really is about Austin Theory, isn't it? Austin Theory snaps. Austin Theory goes over to the United States Championship, picks it up. Theory backed over into the corner. He's looking to nail Seth with it, and he does. Nails Seth freaking Rollins. Boos as Austin Theory stands over Seth. Really love the new Theory character. It makes him look so dominant. If he didn't have that stupid cash in, he wouldn't have a reason to snap. I agree with the booking, says Trini. Elizabeth says 8 out of 10 for Seth Rollins' blonde hair. They should make Roman vacate the Raw title before WrestleMania. Theory is amazing at such a young age. Would you say his aggression is ruthless? Indeed. Ruthless aggression. Days go bye-bye. Days does need to go bye-bye. Gonna do a quick video, break it all down, talk about what went down, A-Town down. Lots of talking points tonight. I've actually got nearly 30 images, which I need to try and load up now. So I'm going to run off and do that. Austin Theory snaps. That is our big story tonight. Yeah, I need to sort the review thing out, don't I? That's a problem. I'll give that some thought for tomorrow. So, right, I'm going to shoot. But appreciate you guys joining us. Hope you enjoyed this week's Raw. We definitely got a few talking points out of it in the end. So I'm going to often do that video. It'll be on the channel in about half an hour's time. So thanks for watching. Appreciate the support, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.